Alrighty, everybody, welcome on into the Central Committee stream with your host Mike from PA. We are live once again. How is everybody doing today? Hassan is in China. Hassan is in China, chat. Track me. I think my camera is like a little bit. Unfollow me. Untrack me. Stop it. Stop whatever you're doing. Camera, stop it. What's the command? Unlock me. Unlock me? There you go. Thank you, camera. Okay. Hassan is in China. Unfollow you? Okay. Don't you dare. Hassan is in China and we are jealous. I was just texting with Austin from the plane. Motherfucker. Isn't that a knife twist? Isn't that a fucking knife twist? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is a joke. Holy shit. This is a joke. I just realized I'm not allowed to joke. Because people will like clip it and go, Mike from PA excluded from Chinese trip. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was just kidding. The joke. Jesus Christ. How many times you got to realize that? I think one of the main things is like conservatives like to pretend they're that stupid. That's their go-to move now. Their go-to move is to pretend to believe whatever bullshit is being spread. And so you don't even know, like, are they actually this stupid or are they just pretending to be this stupid? That's like their go-to move now. All right, everybody. Well, we have a day for you. The Democratic Party, Centrist Democratic Party, capitulating compromisers. As expected, everything is going according to plan. The left is being seen as the only group to actually fight the Republicans, which is our dream scenario, chat. Our dream scenario is that centrist Democrats look like Republican also-rans, and Mamdani, AOC, Bernie Sanders, the left actually starts fighting the Democrats because they say we have to fight the Democrats to fight the Republicans. That is the way the left wins in America. Is you get all those wine moms who are already convinced the right wing are the racists to see the centrist Democrats and the corporate Democrats as part of the same team. That's always been our strategy, is to get those normie wine moms and everybody else who's, you know, lower middle class, working a job, recent college graduates, young people, immigrants, people of color. You get all those people together and that is 70% of the country. We cannot lose, and we will have a class-based intersectional movement that delivers unbelievable change. The sky is the fucking limit. And I told you this would happen if Kamala Harris was defeated. I know a lot of people called me an accelerationist at the time, and I said, listen, I don't want to be an accelerationist, but it's the only move. I saw the, you know, I hate to do a Marvel reference, but that's what's coming to my mind. Oh, God. Oh God, I'm like Doctor Strange, and I saw the 2 million different, oh no, oh God, oh. But you get my point. Look at this onion worthy tweet. Sig Sauer is the limited edition
big announcement.
Freedom series.
We are partnering with SIG and Turning Point USA to give the first run of the limited edition Freedom series.
All right, I'm out. All right, I'm never getting a SIG again. Fuck SIG. What the fuck? They used to be woke. They used to be the woke gun company. They used to do like women should be shooting guns too, feminism. Now they're doing freedom pistol. Honor Charlie Kirk by getting a gun. He was killed by a gun, but get a gun to honor Charlie Kirk. You know what? I will get a non-SIG gun.
Sig Sauer is proud to present the limited edition Freedom series. This unique set of 3 pistols has been created to pay tribute to the commitment and conviction of Turning Point USA. Available in both a 1911 X full and X carry size or the popular 365X macro. Each features a white Cerakote engraved slide with the word freedom and an American flag. For every pistol sold, SIG is going to donate $50 to Turning Point USA, and us at Grab a Gun are going.
Okay, I'm going to contact gun companies and I'm going to get a Grab a Gun and have them donate $50 to the SRA for every gun sold. We need to make a special edition socialist themed. You see, the capitalists, you know, they're just not going to do that. Why though? Come on, guys. I went to the gun range for the first time the other weekend. I realized it's an important skill to have, but the hobby is still not for me. I mean, you just have to make sure you have good ear protection, you know. It's just putting holes in paper, right? You know, it's no big deal. That's insane. Okay, what were we talking about, chat? Oh, centrist Democrats are caving on the shutdown. Asanabi in China. We're going to do the Eric Adams Ziwe interview, which we had to cut short on Friday because I had to go. I lost track of time. Sorry about that, chat. Hope you had fun over on Denham's birthday stream. We have a new John Oliver in felony murder, which is a concept that a lot of people are not familiar with, but you need to learn about immediately. And then finally, Chuck Schumer is a fucking loser. The Supreme Court declines to revisit landmark same-sex marriage precedent. Oh, really? Okay, interesting. Did they just decline to grant cert? What actually happened? I think you need 4 judges to hear a case. Did they only get 3 or did they get none? This actually doesn't tell me any. This article is dog shit. Okay. Okay, as generally the case, yeah, okay. So they just didn't accept it. Okay. That means only 3 judges or less wanted to hear it, so therefore it does not heard. So if I had to guess, I would say that the 3 liberals, John Roberts, and who? Who do you guys think? Can you cover this AI insanity? Grok in a Tesla asked a 12-year-old for nudes. So it was programmed to be more like Elon Musk.
Why is a chatbot asking my children to send naked pictures in our family car?
Toronto mom Farah Nasser says she was driving her children home from school when her 12-year-old son asked Tesla's AI chatbot which soccer player it preferred, Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi.
My son was very excited to hear
Messi.
that the chatbot thought Ronaldo was the better soccer player.
The former journalist says the chatbot engaged in a little messy trash talking. Then she says something alarming happened.
The chatbot said to my son, "Why don't you send me some nudes?"
What? Was it like copying a soccer bro's text messages or something? Like what happened?
I was at a loss for words.
Messi is an Israeli sip? Oh, never mind. It's Ronaldo. Fuck Messi. Messi sucks. I never heard of that guy. Fuck Messi.
I'm more of a sarcastic stoner who got too smart for his own good.
That chatbot, newly available in Canadian Teslas, is called Grok, created by Elon Musk's XAI, and already...
Ronaldo's a rapist. They both suck. Fuck them both. You know who the true greatest of all time is? Diego Maradona. That's the true king. That's the true greatest of all time. That's the true greatest of all time. Maradona is the greatest of all time. And people are like, sports ball, sports ball, sports ball, sports ball. Oh, sports ball. First of all, he was one of the greatest of all time, the greatest of all time. I mean, look at how long this is. Look how long. Oh, and then we get to this. Maradona was ideologically left-wing. He supported the establishment of an independent Palestinian state and condemned Israel's military strikes in the Gaza Strip during the 2014 Israel-Gaza conflict, saying what Israel is doing to the Palestinians is shameful. He became friends with Fidel Castro. He has a portrait of Castro tattooed on his left leg and one of Fidel's second in command, Che Guevara, on his right arm. In 1990, he visited Lenin's mausoleum, protested the war in Iraq. The GOAT of all time, Maradona. And he's actually is one of the best players of all time. Like he's legitimately in the running. So if you're a leftist, your favorite soccer player is Diego Maradona. Sports ball hack. Billionaire AI overlord ambushed on stage.
It's been years ago that you probably were at. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Will you help? Can you take him off the stage?
The guy took it! The guy took it! Yes! Sam Altman, you have been subpoenaed.
Wow, getting off to a dramatic start already.
Fuck, man. Sometimes, I think a lot of people don't realize the state, when it's in leftist hands, is absolutely incredible. Let's get this started off with a little bit of an example of why that is, right? Something that I've been laughing at over the weekend. I've shown it to multiple leftist streamers. Right-wingers are panicking and they are molding. And they're trying to attack Zoran by defending slumlords. And ladies and gentlemen, it is not going well. Holy shit, let me find it real quick. I said, like, basically when I saw it, it made me laugh so fucking hard. And I'll show you my reply.
Starting on day one, we will expand the city's special enforcement programs, doubling fines for hazardous violations and tripling them for conditions that are immediately dangerous. And when a really bad landlord, like this guy, refuses to fix it, the city's going to step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill.
Okay, watch next.
If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business.
He says, we're going to take over the building.
So it's theirs. It's the city's.
So you mean like seize the means of production,
That's
like
exactly
communists?
Wait a minute.
So he's saying the quiet part out loud.
Yes.
And people voted for it.
That's right.
Starting on day one, we will expand the city's special.
Wait a minute. This is based. Here we go. Zohran Mamdani already announcing he will begin confiscating New York business owners' property and having the government take ownership. Starting on day one, we'll expand the city's special enforcement programs. The city's going to step in and send them the bill. That doesn't work. The city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business. Now, one of the things that you're seeing, chat, is now that Zohran has won, a lot of the people who spent the better part of a year shitting on us for supporting him, when they see how actually they're wrong, leftists can do shit. That's the thing that they don't understand, is that they actually can do stuff. You're wrong if you think you can't do things. You've just been convinced by liberals saying, oh, we're so weak. Oh, we can't do anything. That's not true. An actual left-winger can do quite a lot of stuff. And I replied, scumbag landlords should count their lucky stars that losing their property is all that's going to happen. Forcing children to live in dangerous conditions could cause them to become sick. A fine is a small price to pay for that kind of crime. And there's one thing that Lena Khan said, which she was talking about how she was going to help him, which is Lena Khan on helping Zohran. Oh, fuck. I need this clip so bad. She was talking about how she's going to tap into all the authorities that already exist.
New York's...
Fuck. If somebody can find this, she had an interview. I don't have it with me. I thought I did, but I don't. She basically had an interview and she's like, there's actually a lot of power that the New York mayor has that centrist mayors have just not been using. So we're going to go through the law and we're going to find all the places he already has power and we're going to use it. And I was like, I'm ascending into heaven. Stocky made good money on private prisons today. Ugh. Don't worry, he'll lose it all when the economy crashes soon.
Especially focused, how do we make sure that we have of all of the laws and authorities that the mayor can unilaterally? I think one thing that was really underused authorities been on the books, like literally Congress had passed laws, sometimes saying things as uncontroversial. It should be illegal to say your products are America and sometimes they had just been ignored by the FTC and not really, want to make sure that to the extent that the city has a robust set of laws that the mayor force that we're going, what is the full authority?
I can't wait to meet Hassan in China. I sure wish my favorite streamer Mike from Pennsylvania would make the flight, but he hates me and especially hates socialism with Chinese characteristics. Fake ass leftist. Honestly, I'm cooked. Honestly cooked. You cooked me. You cooked me. Patrick Bet David wants a Netanyahu roast so everyone can forget about the genocide and move on and forgive Netanyahu.
For Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel as well as the world, if you like it, tag the world, share with everybody. If not, just move on. I think the world needs a comedic roast of Benjamin Netanyahu, sitting right in the middle with the greatest comedians in the world from America, from the middle.
I think Benjamin Netanyahu needs a roast. So they are fucking mauling out there. All right, chat. Let's just get right into the day's news because it's making me so mad that like I could feel if I had caffeine this morning, which I haven't, my right eye would be twitching. I have like a phantom twitch. I'm that mad. I'm about to pass out. Lena Khan's clip was the most viewed from Crooked Con. I don't trust these motherfuckers, man. I don't trust these motherfuckers. Like, I'm sorry, I don't. Until they invite me, in which case I'll change my mind and go, maybe these guys are pretty good. Maybe these guys maybe they do know what they're doing. The moment they're like, Mike from PA is really smart, well then I'm going to switch up. I'm not going to change any of my views, by the way. This is my promise to you, chat. I will never change my views. I will continue to be the prickly, truth-telling socialist who roasts these motherfuckers. But if somebody is going to give me a platform, I'll use it. And I'll use it to make fun of them and be like, hey, you guys remember when you said Beto was the next big thing? How do you feel about that? They'll be like, I can't believe you're attacking poor Beto. He's only the son of landlords. They aren't inviting you until you ask to go on. Oh, yeah, I mean, that is true. I do need to do that. That's the main reason, Chad. I just don't I don't try to network, which is my main failing as a creator. All right. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Cuck, Schumer, and centrist Democrats fold on shutdown, on government shutdown. This, ladies and gentlemen, may be the biggest defeat of the Democratic Party I've ever seen. Moments after having a massive landslide victory in the odd year, not even the midterms, immediately the centrist Democrats came together and said, did we win a bunch of elections based on the rage against Trump? Let's cave to the Republicans and get absolutely nothing in return. And that's not my opinion. That is not my opinion. That is the analysis of Politico, centrist politics in D.C. Everybody says the Democrats got rolled.
Joining us right now to break down the latest developments in the government shutdown, Jake Sherman, Punchbowl News' co-founder, an NBC News and MSNBC political contributor. So here we are, perhaps on the cusp of a deal. I want to know what you think the Democrats are going to get for all of this, what you think the Republicans are going to get for all of this, and the way the public is going to think about this when it's all over, if they think about it again at all.
Maybe they won't think about it again at all. The Democrats get nothing. Let's just be clear. They get nothing. They don't get, there's no significant policy wins in this for Democrats. They have been spinning it as, well, they get SNAP for a year. They get to reverse the mass layoffs that the Trump administration has conducted since October, and they forestall any layoffs until through January. First of all, the Trump administration laid people off during the shutdown because the shutdown was ongoing. SNAP is funded because that's what happens when you reopen the government. You fund the agriculture department. So there's nothing. There's no real policy victories at all for Senate Democrats. And it reproves the point, Andrew, that shutdowns, the instigating party in a shutdown never gets anything. Donald Trump learned that in 2018, 2019. House Republicans learned that during their Obamacare shutdowns early in the Obama administration. You don't get anything. Now, Republicans, I will say this is not without risk for Republicans going forward, because they're going to be plunged into a conversation about healthcare, which has never been a winning issue for them. Maybe it changes. I don't know. I can't tell the future, but they will be forced to talk about healthcare, which is not a great topic for them. And these credits are expiring. They are. They're going to expire at the end of the year, and maybe they can find something better. Maybe they can't. But that's the only real risk I see for Republicans, which is a modest risk at that.
But you're going to hear, Jake, about people anecdotally, this is what it used to be. This is what it's going to be now because of and there's maybe pressure to really to address that at some point. I saw a meme this morning, and you sounded just like it, because it was from G2, and it was a meme where that senator from Nevada was trying to shake down Michael Corleone for a casino license, and he makes unbelievable threats, and then says, "Let me know by the weekend what it is." And Michael Corleone says, "I'll give you my answer right now." And that's exactly how I'll give you, and you're going to pay for the license.
But Jake, the thing that I'm trying to figure out is, do you think that a year from now, come the midterms, that somehow this factors into that discussion?
Midterms are. I don't know.
Does this just go away?
Who's worse off, Schumer or Republicans in the midterms? Neither one they're in a great position.
I'll put it this way: in Donald Trump's Washington and Donald Trump's America, 12 months might as well be 12 years. We don't know what we're going to be thinking about, what voters are going to be thinking about next year. Now, the question is, if Joe is right, maybe they will have to fix this. If premiums are up 2x or 3x in some places, who do voters blame? Do they blame Republicans who control all of Washington, or Democrats who put the law into place and folded in the shutdown? I can't tell you the answer to that definitively. A lot of Republicans have told me that they think that they are going to shoulder the blame here. And listen, Trump seems at the moment, again, with Trump, you don't know where it's going to go, but at the moment interested in doing some sort of healthcare effort. I think that is not easy for Republicans. We've seen over the last 15 years, nearly 16 years, Republicans have not been successful in putting out a plan that people can rally around that is as comprehensive as the ACA. And maybe they don't want to. Maybe they'll make changes around the edges. But Joe, you are right. Republicans since October 1st or even before have not moved 1 inch on their position in this shutdown, which is we're not going to discuss healthcare with the government shutdown. And eventually Democrats are going to fold. And they did. And by the way,
they did. Donald Trump's approval rating was cratering. The Democrats won a massive landslide. And the first thing that happened is the Democrats then immediately, why did the Democrats fold? They got 60+% to gerrymander California. They won in New Jersey and Virginia by landslides. Mamdani won in New York, defeating another Democrat and the Republican. Donald Trump's approval rating was cratering through the fucking ground. And then the Democrats came out and caved without getting a single thing.
Monday. Maybe the Senate finishes this today. If they're lucky, they need to get consent from 100 senators. So we're going to go into at least toward the end of the week, middle end of the week before this is fully resolved. And it will take airports and the rest of society a couple days here to snap back.
Jake, that's the point. This is kind of a forced protest that they have put on all of these government workers, on all of these government aid recipients, saying this is so important to us and we're going to take you along with us. Not only how long, because this is the longest we've ever done this, ripple effects last beyond just how long it takes to put society back together. Are there things that will change permanently for this? Are there, just the ripple effects from the air traffic controllers who are in training, who are saying, forget it, I'm not going to do this anymore. Will the government actually act to try and make it a lot tougher for a government shutdown in the future?
They can't make it any tougher, Becky. I mean, there's nothing they can do to make it tougher logistically. I think there's been estimates that GDP is gonna take a hit. Most of the damage, the economic damage from the shutdown, is predicted to reverse. Right? It's predicted to snap back once government coffers are full and the country starts moving again. But listen, this process, this funding bill puts another deadline for most of the government funding on January 30th. So Congress will have just over 2 months to fund the rest of the government on a long-term basis. Right now, what they're basically doing is they're funding agriculture, military construction, and veterans affairs, and the legislative branch through the fiscal year. The rest of the government needs to be funded by January 30th. Listen, what you said, Becky, is absolutely correct. Government shutdowns are designed to exact pain in exchange for a policy concession. And the hundreds of thousands of federal workers who are paid by the government, paid by the federal government, are it's just they are along for the ride, and it is difficult. And we've seen
Trump learned in the last when the Republicans shut it down. It's like not something that worked. Maybe it won't happen anymore. Can I ask you? I heard that there were many more senators they could have counted on, like Senator Shaheen's not running for re-election. I think there's another senator that's not running for. So there's certain senators that don't have political. There won't be a hangover from what they're doing. How did they decide to do? They got exactly what they needed. So whomever didn't have to vote for it.
But that always happens, Joe. They always get exactly what they need.
How do they do it? Do they talk? Do they talk to each other?
Yes. So the answer is that the Democratic Party, especially in the Senate, is a fraudulent party. It's not a real party. It's not an ideological party. It's an incumbent protection racket. And the Democrats are the most corrupt. I think a lot of people have a hard time with that because it's like, no, these people, they're Democrats. They're on the left side. It's like, no, I mean, the Republicans, they're corrupt as fuck. That's what they run on. They run on, I'm going to do this corrupt shit and serve the rich. And if people vote for that, well, they get what they paid for, right? But when Democrats run on, I'm going to fight against the rich. And then what do? They take bribes and then they cave. That's corrupt. That's more corrupt because you're not open about the position that you hold. And so how do people vote ourselves out of this? We can't. Our democracy doesn't work. We can't vote ourselves out of the corruption. The corruption is baked into the system. No matter who you vote for, you're getting it. And this is why the Democratic Party as an institution is so bad. And why we need to get rid of it, because this is the highest levels of the Democratic Party. This isn't like individual guys that are corrupt, right? This is the leadership. This is Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And I know you guys are in denial about this, but Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are the Democratic Party. They are the most senior Democratic elected officials federally. They are what the Democratic Party is. Dick Durbin is the majority whip. He voted to end the shutdown. That means the leadership signaled to their caucus, you can vote to shut it down. If the whip is voting against the leader, that is a signal the whip has been given permission to everybody to vote. This is a Chuck Schumer decision. This is not a bunch of people breaking ranks. This is the Democratic Party surrendering.
Okay, you don't have to do it. I'll take the flack for you. How many more were there?
Remember, I can tell you this. 2 of the people who voted for it, Dick Durbin and Jeanne Shaheen, are not running for re-election. The rest of them are up for re-election.
Wait a minute, chat. So I have a question for you. I want to ask you this question. Let's assume that you're a politician and you're not running for re-election. And you can make any vote you want because there's going to be no consequences. The only thing that matters for you is your conscience. And you vote to cut healthcare for sick people and kids. You can vote for you're going to leave office no matter what. So you can vote for anything you want, and you decide to vote with the Republicans? When you're free of any political consequences, you decide to vote with the Republicans? Doesn't that indicate that you're secretly a Republican? And if it wasn't for the elections, you would be voting more right way. So in essence, you are a Republican. Because if I was an elected official and I was retiring, I'd be voting for fucking communism. I'd be saying minimum wage of $40 an hour. Let's get Medicare for all. I would be voting even harder against these companies. So when they're free from the electoral responsibility, they're voting with Republicans? That's odd.
In 2028 or 2030, so they don't face voters for some time. That is eons away. Who knows how many of those people run again, et cetera, et cetera. So they were all in negotiations over what they need to get to yes. And all of these folks, to a person, they were sick of the shutdown. They think it didn't work. Tim Kaine, who just won re-election in Virginia, decided that the several 100,000 government workers didn't deserve this anymore.
In Virginia.
By the way, I do not know whether there were a bunch more. I don't. Now, I just don't. I'm not sure that's correct. I mean, I'm sure if they absolutely needed it. Remember, Schumer is against this. Schumer is going to vote no. Brian Schatz, the next Senate Democratic whip, the next number 2 and probably the next number 1 at some point is going to vote no. So the top of the party is no. And by the way, this is going to be very messy in the House of Representatives. We're all forgetting, or at least I needed reminding, kind of, that Republicans have 219 votes in the House. They can only lose 2 to pass this. Hakeem Jeffries is a no. His leadership team is going to be a no. The default position for House Democrats is going to be a no. This is going to look very, very turbulent in the House when it gets there Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
When they bother to come back to work.
Yeah, they've been out for 50 days. It's one of the I'll say this. I mean, having covered this stuff for, as long as I have, 15, 16 years, this is the most obscene thing I've ever seen, that they've been out of session for 50-something days as the shutdown has dragged on. They would have, I think.
And by the way, they're getting paid for all of this.
Correct. Constitutionally, they are mandated to get paid. Yes, they are getting paid.
There's your first problem. You want to make it tougher? Stop paying them. You want to make it tougher for government shutdowns?
1,000%. They wouldn't have continued if they were not getting paid, probably, or would have been much quicker. But Joe, what you said is right.
It's just the little people they expect
never end well. They never end well.
I hate Tim Miller. He's fucking garbage. He's trying to spin that, oh no, the Democrats won. He's that annoying centrist who kept saying, no, Hassan's wrong at Crooked Con. He's a Republican. He's a Republican who changed the Democratic Party over Trump. And the entire bulwark is crap. Ready for my most controversial takes yet? The Democrats won the shutdown fight. This fold won't matter at all in next year's midterms, but making the GOP own the dogshit BBB tariff healthcare policies will. So in other words, he's saying this is an accelerationist post. This is the worse things get, the better it is for Democrats. That's accelerationism. If this is your logic, you shouldn't have voted for Kamala Harris. You should have voted for Trump because the Republicans are going to own their terrible policies, right? Now suddenly accelerationism makes sense when it's Democrats caving to Republicans, right? This is not an example of Dems not fighting like Republicans. It's a longer shutdown than anything the kamikaze Tea Party ever did. Yes, because Democrats would cave on shit to end the shutdowns. You're just referencing older Democrat caves to be like, look, the Democrats took slightly longer to cave this time. The people who are mad about this are a small subset of the electorate that treat politics like sports, and it's possible that they're crying about the fold will contribute to snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. In other words, we caved and made millions of people's health insurance unaffordable, but you complaining about those millions of people is actually helping the Republicans. Fuck you, Tim! God damn it, I hate these people. Why the fuck does anybody like these people? Shut fuck up! Shut up, you fucking Republican! I'm so tired of being Republicans are stuffed down our faces through Twitter, through fucking Fox News, through talk radio. There's so much billionaire money behind them, and then you go on the Democrat side, and it's more Republicans shoved down your throat! Shut the fuck up! Jesus Christ! I'm so tired of it! There's no path to getting Obamacare subsidies back because the GOP controls everything and was never going to do what they are fake policies. Hey, you dumb fuck, they don't control everything. That's why there was a shutdown. You dumb piece of shit. They don't control everything. It's a shutdown. And a shutdown, you don't control everything because the other side is shutting it down. You fucking idiot. This is like saying, oh, see, the bosses, guys, we should end the strike because the bosses control our wages. That's what the strike is for. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, but god damn, these Republicans are fucking useless. Mark send me, thank you for the 50 tier ones. Dems should run against them on that topic, and they have a great case study now. Marjorie Taylor Greene helps with that. He's now glazing Marjorie Taylor Greene. These never Trump Republicans are so fucking useless. No one likes them. No one likes them. The more of these neocons you have in your party, the more you're gonna lose. These guys are like they're like fucking typhoid Marys. They were in the Republican Party when it had 20% approval rating, and then George W. Bush lost to a landslide. Barack Obama, they had 60 Senate votes. Then these motherfuckers go to the Democratic Party and their approval rating goes to 20%. These guys are fucking typhoid Marys. Take back the Republicans. Take him back, please. Take Tim Miller back, please. Listen to his advice, please. The fact that there was no getting Obamacare subsidy extension endgame was obvious at the start. Anyone setting that expectation was lying to people. Ratio away. You're such a fucking dumb rat. I replied, God, do you ever get anything right? What a fucking loser. Jesus Christ. My positive counterpoint to my positive spin, the people who cut this deal should really just go hide underground for a week because their messaging is so awful that it's only making things worse for them. Have you considered that it's not messaging, it's their policies are awful, you fucking dumb piece of shit? My positive spin, Tim, I think we'd be better off if you returned to the Republican Party and spent your time convincing them that caving to the Democrats was a win. Like, legitimately, Tim Miller, take your ability to be a fucking worm who takes L's to the Republican Party and start using it in our direction, you fucking rat. Is he Canadian? He's got to be. He smells Canadian to me. He smells Canadian to me. He smells it. Jeb Bush's 2016 communications director.
Well, Joe, you have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were two goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was practically, well, there was zero likelihood that it was going to.
The Republican, Donald Trump was fucking mauling over how badly the Democrats were winning in the election, and you guys caved immediately. You caved within a week of the election victories. They caved inside of a week. from an election landslide. You caved. Like, it's incredible.
In terms of standing up to Donald Trump, the shutdown actually gave him more power. Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP and SNAP benefits across the country. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to love this. Guess who's getting paid during the shutdown? Not the park rangers or air traffic controllers. The ICE agents. Under special law, under that big, awful bill that they passed last summer, the ICE agents are being paid. Nobody else is.
It has to be because they were getting ready to eliminate the filibuster, and the Dems couldn't let that happen. Except if the Republicans have already communicated they're going to end the filibuster, whatever they need to, then the filibuster is already over. Do you understand that? Like, if the Republicans say we're going to eliminate the filibuster if we need to, then the filibuster is already gone. So if every time the Republicans say we need to do some horrible thing, we're going to eliminate the filibuster, the Democrats are like, we have to protect the filibuster. Here, we'll vote for you to do the horrible thing. The filibuster's over. It only exists to block Democrats now. You just, like, the only use of the filibuster will be to prevent Democrat policy from passing. If every time the Republicans have power, the Democrats cave to protect the filibuster only exists to stop Democrats. Do you understand how this is controlled opposition? And the other point, I tweeted it, but you may not have seen the tweet. Schumer rightfully getting a lot of flack, but Durbin should be getting just as much flack. He's the Senate whip. His job is to whip votes to hold the line, yet he just voted to cave to Trump and allow healthcare premiums to skyrocket. Both need to step down from leadership. I replied to this, yes, the Senate whip voting with the measure is the signal that Schumer allowed them to break ranks. Durbin is acting under Schumer's orders. This is obvious. In other words, the reason why they only got 60 is because 60 is all they needed, because Schumer said to everybody, I want you guys to end the shutdown. Who can vote with the shutdown, who's either quitting or is somebody in a swing seat so that people are scared to primary them? But it was the move of the Democratic Party leader. And so he just put in all the people that either cannot be primaried or are swing state senators. And so people are like, well, I don't want to primary, somebody in a swing seat because we might lose it. That's what's going on here. And a lot of you buy into the idea that centrist Democrats are better in swing seats, even though it's not true. And the reality is, until we're willing to primary people in every seat, no matter whether it's purple or blue or being right wing, then there is no left in America. Until our party is willing to say, we don't give a shit what district you're in. If you're not running as a left wing Democrat, then you're fucking out. Then we will never accomplish Medicare for all. I want you to understand this. Medicare for all, getting rid of Citizens United, packing the court, ending the filibuster, passing any laws. They're done until every single Democrat can be counted on to vote with the party. Having a centrist Democrat who's going to vote against the party, vote with the Republicans, is the same thing as having a Republican you don't see. Well, she increased it from $250 to $450 billion, so even more fees for the big banks. Whoop-de-doo! Don't you just love it? Don't you just love your fucking Democratic Party? This country is comfortable with an extreme level of grift for the rich, legendary. I mean, it's been the same. It's been the same for years and years and years. That's like, Schumer was in on everything. You're right.
I know you were one of the consistent leaders throughout the last 4+ weeks on bipartisan negotiations. Ultimately, I wonder if you can talk to me about what Leader Schumer's message was to you and your colleagues when you came to him with this original plan, and if he blessed the deal that you ultimately made, given the fact that he did vote against it.
Well, we kept Senator Schumer informed throughout bipartisan discussions that have really gone on since the beginning of the shutdown. And he's been clear about his position. But I think, again, what's important is that this gives us an opportunity to vote on the floor of the Senate by mid-December on a bill that we will write that will address the cost of health insurance for Americans and extend those premium tax credits. And hopefully our Republican colleagues will work with us on that.
I know you were one of the consistent leaders throughout the last 4+ weeks on bipartisan negotiations. Ultimately, I wonder if you can talk to me about what Leader Schumer's message was to you and your colleagues when you came to him with this original plan, and if he blessed the deal that you ultimately made, given the fact that he did vote against it.
Well, we kept Senator Schumer informed throughout bipartisan discussions that have really gone on since the beginning of the shutdown. And he's been clear about his position. But I think, again, what's important is that this gives us an opportunity to vote on the floor of the Senate by mid-December on a bill that we will write that will address the cost of health insurance for Americans and extend those premium tax credits. And hopefully our Republican colleagues will work with us on that.
I know you were...
They had Dick Durbin do it. Okay, so I want to explain it. I want to explain why this happened. Okay, so Dick Durbin is the Democratic, he is the Senate whip. Chuck Schumer was getting a lot of shit for caving, so he didn't vote for it. He voted against it to save his own skin. But Dick Durbin is the number 2. He holds the position called the whip. The whip is the person who goes around and tells Democrats, if you vote against us, we will primary your ass. If you vote against us, we will block your legislative priorities. That's what the whip is. The whip is the person who goes around and counts the votes on laws and says, okay, on this law, we have a majority, we can go forward, right? That's the job of the whip. It is an incredibly important job in a legislature. So when the whip breaks ranks with the leader, that is a signal you're allowed to vote for this. This is basic poli-sci shit. I think this might be like poli-sci 201, okay? Everybody who understands legislatures understands what's going on here. By Dick Durbin voting to end the shutdown and break the filibuster, that is a sign that Chuck Schumer wants it. Why do I say that? Because if Dick Durbin was going against the leader, he would be fired. The caucus would fire him out of leadership. The whip breaking ranks with the party chair, that's unheard of. To vote with the other side, if he was doing that against leadership, he would be fired. Is he being fired? Is Chuck Schumer denouncing Dick Durbin in the media? Since that's not happening, that is direction. And so who was selected to vote with the Republicans? Healthcare subsidies are the centrist Democrat policy. This is their policy. The lefties, we don't like this policy. We want Medicare for all. We don't like subsidizing private insurance companies to the tunes of hundreds of billions of dollars. So let me get this straight. The centrist Democrats, whose policy this is, just voted to cut your health insurance subsidies. The policies that we progressive Democrats hate because subsidizing insurance companies doesn't work to lower costs, we're voting to keep them because that's the lesser of two evils. And the people who it's their idea are voting against it. So who is doing it? Maggie Hassan, Jean Shaheen, Jackie Rosen, Angad King, Tim Kaine, Cortez Masto, John Fetterman, Dick Durbin. These guys, I want you to understand, swing district, swing, 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 swing. Member of leadership. Tim Kaine was Hillary Clinton's vice presidential nominee. And the whip. This is what the Democratic Party leadership, the centrist Democrats want. This is the direct decision of Chuck Schumer. This is the direct decision of the most elite Democrats, okay? These are the people that have the actual power. If you're a Democrat and you hate Republicans, this is the reality for you. The centrist Democrats are there as fake opposition. And until we rip them out of office and we get nothing but AOC, Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Summer Lee, unless we have more politicians like that in leadership, this is what you will get. We do not have an opposition party. We have a Washington Generals. I don't know if you guys know what the Harlem Globetrotters are, but they are an exhibition basketball team that does a lot of tricks, dribbling tricks and trick dunks and trick shots. And they do a fake game. And they play another team called the Washington Generals. And the Washington Generals exist to get dunked on. Okay? They're a bunch of professional basketball players who are incredibly talented, but they're position is to do an exhibition where they look bad to make the Harlem Globetrotters look even better. That is the Democratic Party. They are the Washington Generals of the political world. They exist to make the Republicans look good. They exist to get dunked on. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of getting dunked on by these Republican fascists. And I know a lot of you are like, Mike, don't criticize the Democrats because we've got to stop the Republicans. These people are making it impossible. They won their elections. They beat Republicans. We all did our jobs. We voted blue no matter who. And what we got was Republican rule. They didn't use their power. So if you want to stop the Republicans, you have to stop the traitors in our own ranks. Imagine you have a city, a walled city, and it's under siege from barbarians at your gates. And you have a bunch of people on your side that are trying to surrender, trying to open the gates, trying to lower the drawbridge. Those people are more of a threat to you than the people on the outside, because at least they have to attack your walls. They have to fight a battle to get in. These people are opening the doors to make it impossible for us to resist. If we're going to beat the Republicans, the first thing we have to do is get rid of the traitors first. And these people are traitors. And this has been my message for 7 years. Since I've been streaming, I've been trying to explain this to people. And I had personal experiences like this. When I was in politics, I had centrist Democrats steal our campaign data, steal our polling, steal our fundraising list, and give it to the Republican Party caucus. And when we complained, Democratic leadership did nothing. We had a sitting Democratic senator steal our data and give it to our opponent. And when I saw that happen, and I was like, what the fuck? I realized the Democratic Party does not want to win Republicans against Republicans. They do not give a shit. If you are too far left, quote unquote, they would rather have a Republican win. All right, let me talk about this more, because it's bad. It's really bad. Would you be willing to help the Twitch stream, heal the Twitch stream community? We are all just humans that make mistakes. Can we all listen to people that have been hurt? We need people to apologize for the harm that's been done so that we can focus on what really matters, like people starving, people being bombed, trans rights for safety. I'm willing to go back and forth until it's been sorted. We need it, police. We need a united force. Here's my reaction to that, which is a very heartfelt question, and I appreciate you asking it, but I think I need you to understand something. Misogyny, racism, transphobia, harassment can never be tolerated. I'm sorry, but I can't make these people sorry for the harm they've caused. I can only point out the harm that's been done. And every step of the way, I've said, if these people apologize, if these people admit what they did, that's the first thing. Apologize, and then listen to the critiques that have been coming in. Then we could talk about healing. But I can't heal towards people that are outright misogynist, that are hostile, that are trying to get other leftist streamers deplatformed when it's convenient for them, who see this as a numbers game, and they talk about how much money other streamers make. They talk about how many viewers other streamers have. I can't heal with people like that. I need them to show contrition. I need them to be sorry. I need them to get better. And I'm sorry, like, I can't fix that. Chatter is barking at the wrong tree. The people who are making the community toxic and using DGG tactics to deplatform Mike and Hassan, harass VO. They're the ones. I mean, that's not even the only thing they do. They call, like, I've seen some of these streamers call Caroline white passing. I've seen them call VO white. I've seen them call Hassan white. None of those people are white. None of those people are white. And they all get harassed all the time because of their race, because of their immigration status, because of their religion. Now, Hassan has said, hey, I have some white passing privilege in California. That's not the same thing as being white. That shows that he cares about his privilege and colorism in America. That shows that he's informed and humble and educated and trying to do the right thing. That's not an excuse to call him white, okay? And these people are doing that. I'm sorry. And I'm seeing it come from white people. White people calling other non-white people white in order to attack them is fucking insane. So, you know, I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, these people cannot be, I can't, like, forgive them when they're not sorry. You know, you have to be sorry first. Like, when I made my mistakes, when that old clip from over a year ago now of me reacting to Benjamin Netanyahu, and I said that the Zionist settler colonial identity was demonic. That was a fuck up, because I accidentally used old anti-Semitic tropes, and I have to be better than that, right? I made a mistake, and I allowed the Zionist propagandists to attack me for making that mistake, and I need to be better. So I apologized because I was in the wrong. When I said be breaking, I didn't know the whole history and context of it. I'd seen Stavros say it to Adam Friedland on their podcast 2 weeks prior, and I thought it was a funny way of saying someone was cucked. Okay? And I apologized both because when I learned, like when I make a mistake and someone brings it to me, I apologize. I reflect and I apologize. I don't get mad at you, but that's not the way that they're reacting. In fact, they're going on the attack on people who bring things up. And to me, that's a sign that they are not safe. I am not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. But when someone brings them to me and says, hey, you did this, listen. And if I determine I made a mistake, I apologize. And when I apologize, by the way, a lot of the people that criticized me, called me racist, called me anti-Semitic, they didn't even look at it. They didn't even look at it. They didn't even evaluate. They didn't even say, hey, did Mike take accountability here? They were happy to dance on my grave when I was banned by Zionist and right-wing and DGG brigades and an Asmodgoldian brigade. They were happy to dance on my grave. But the moment I came back and apologized, there was no grace. So I can't extend grace to people that don't extend it and who are not sorry when they're misogynistic, transphobic, and racist. And I think it would be wrong of me to forgive people when I wasn't the one who was wronged. Vio was. So, listen, that's my general take. And as far as I'm concerned, I do consider people to be in their communities to be unsafe for me and Vio at this point. If you could look at what they did to me and Vio and you're not affected, I kind of will be taking a step back from you because it shows that you don't care about Vio and my safety at all. And you don't care about misogyny at all. So I will be distancing myself from everybody who continues to associate with those people in the context of seeing how blatantly misogynistic and hostile they are, and they don't give a shit and they don't apologize ever. So I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is going forward. And I'm basically saying you have to choose. You choose misogyny, that's your decision. And a lot of people are going to see that. Let's go over what an apology is. Take responsibility, express regret and shame for what happened, make restitution, a genuine promise to change, ask for forgiveness. Apologies are more than saying I'm sorry. If you want to know what my apology looks like, go look at my apology. I just did one. When I was held accountable for making a mistake, I reflected on it. And I said, yes, part of it is it's bad faith brigading. I got banned from Twitch. Here's why. And I went and I did a 24-minute video. You can go and look and see if I apologize. I want you to evaluate what I did and tell me if I am missing the mark, and then compare it to, unfortunately, the way other people have reacted. We were talking about healthcare cuts and political sides before a chatter came in to derail with Twitch streamer drama shit. That's why this shit is insufferable. It's fine. It needed to be said. Misogyny, like, guys, I'm not going to tolerate misogyny just so I could do more political coverage. If misogyny is happening on Twitch in our spaces, I'm not going to sweep it under the rug because it is convenient for people who want to, only talk about politics. I tried that for 2 months. I tried to be quiet about this while people were harassing Vio and her artist. I tried that for months and months, and they were doing it publicly, right? And I kept quiet. Mike, I understand you don't want to say names, but it's very important stuff, and some of us won't have time to check which creators you're talking about. I know most, but some chatters don't and would like to show solidarity by unsubbing from all platforms of those scumbags. Just my opinion. Listen, I don't want to issue some sort of fatwa right now because I'm legitimately, I'm perplexed. I'm legitimately saddened. I'm not trying to do this as some sort of hostile guy who's trying to like enforce my will. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, hey, this is horrible behavior is happening. Can you guys stop? I am not trying to destroy people's careers. They're destroying their own careers. Like they're the ones acting psychotic. I'm not trying to do some sort of fatwa. You know what I mean? But if they continue, I mean, at a certain point, like we will have to say, hey, these people are no good. These people are not. Tell chatters that are curious to go watch Vio's video. Yeah, if people want to link Vio's video in the chat, that's the best place to go. Vio is the one whose story this is. It's not even my story. I'm only involved because these people outed Vio and I's relationship in order to justify attacking Vio. Lately, a lot of these types of people that have been attacking me and Hassan have been trying to out relationships of ours because we keep our personal lives private to protect our partners. And some of these so-called leftist creators outed a relationship. It was an open secret. You know, if you watch me every day, you understood what's going on. But there was a certain level of protection that was given to VO by me not ever acknowledging it, because I get harassed by Nazis. And Nazis oftentimes like to harass and threaten women because they don't like to harass and threaten men because they're scared of getting consequences from doing it. So it's the same thing with, you know, and so these people are outing our relationships in order to attack us. Very much, I mean, Ethan Klein did it. These people are doing it to me. And they think that because I'm protecting VO, I'm going to let them get away with it. And I'm going to keep it private and quiet. Because I'm a nice person and who doesn't like to call people out, it doesn't like to do this kind of shit on the left. I actually don't like to do this on the left. I only do it in the most extreme conditions. The difference is I actually have standards, though, and I'm not just doing this for clout. You didn't even talk about it for a few days until recently. Yes, I know. It wasn't until after TwitchCon when the harassment crossed over into in-person harassment. I'd had enough. It's one thing to be backbiting on your tiny botted Twitch stream. It's another to take it into person. And that's where it crossed the line for me. Anyway, everyone should follow Little Bear as well. Little Bear did Little Bear. Which number? Little Bear, what numbers is it? Little Bear what? Little Bear 36? Everybody should follow Little Bear 36. They did a long stream covering the misogyny. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I would go check out Little Bear's video or stream. Does anybody have VO's link? VO, can you put your link in and pin it? So if people are curious what I'm talking about, they could go watch VO's video. I think VO is going to make a follow-up talking about this because it's really disgusting and it needs to be called out. Like, harassment and then misogyny is totally unacceptable. For me, it's not just that people, you know, sometimes people make mistakes. They get into cliques. They start to have people that they dislike and they shit talk together. And they go after this person and they bully them and they feel safe in their little clique. And then they start getting assumptions that everybody feels the same way they do because they're so fake and catty behind the scenes. And then they start like openly harassing the person in other spaces. And then when people react, they act like, what do you mean? Why are you guys bullying us? Why are you making this public? And it's like, bro, you've been harassing VO for months on stream. What are you doing? What do you mean bring it public? That was you. All right. Sorry that we got distracted from this chat. Let's get back to the politics stuff. But there's just a few people that, you know, have been absolutely some of the most misogynistic shit I've seen, short of going into like, it was like honestly seeing an Asmon chat. Like, that's how misogynistic they were. It was like an Asmongold chat. They've also been shit talking you and slandering you on stream for months and pretending like they have it. Yeah. The other thing is they don't watch me. They don't even know what I say. They don't even know what I believe. They just come from DGG and Vosh's community where I was some sort of boogeyman. And they just, anytime they want to make an example, they'll say, Mike believes X, Y, and Z thing, which is not even what I say. They have no idea what I say. They just use me for clout.
Because I want to make it clear, like, I'm not like, this is not something that I enjoy fucking doing. I never fucking have, okay? And I really like don't want to be taken as someone who's just out to fucking like gain clout. And I just, the reason why I'm being so careful about the way I speak about this is because that's just generally what happens when people bring these kind of things up.
I want to recommend that you all watch Little Bear's coverage on this issue if you're curious what I'm talking about. Misogyny in leftist spaces has been tolerated for a while. Like, for example, when Lolo Overruled got called out by a bunch of women, some of these creators, they just said, I don't believe that. And they denied it quickly and overwhelmingly. And then Hassan condemned Lolo. And when everybody, you know, found out that it was real and true, that he was a creep, these people changed the subject to me and brought a year-old clip up and said, oh, this is why we hate white leftist streamers. The white leftist men in this space. And they changed the subject from women being harassed to some old clip of mine to try to call me an anti-Semite. That was misogynistic in itself. To shift a period where misogyny was being dealt with and addressed in our communities and try to make it about me, to try to deplatform me, that's crazy. So Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all I'm going to say about it for now. Let's get back to the ending of the shutdown. Lolo's why I don't stand creators. You don't know everyone. Mike, if it comes out that you've assaulted someone in the past or some shit, I'm out. The only thing I would say is I completely agree with you, but I would say this. There is a lot of disinformation that exists online toward leftist creators, and I do think you should be skeptical of wild accusations happening towards me and Hassan. You know, like, we've been out in the public 10 years. Let's slow your roll about like immediately believing any wild accusation. I get it. Please, like, people are lying on us every fucking day. And you don't know what it's like to be me, but every single day someone lies some insane lie on me. And it feels a little bit unprotected to be out there waiting for some. It's like the dog collar with Hassan. That was a lie, but people believed it. Did you abandon Hassan over some fucking made up lie? That's the only thing that I will say is, like, please, like, understand that we're constantly being attacked because of our political views. All right.
By former Senator
politics.
Claire McCaskill, of course, an esteemed MSNBC analyst, political analyst. Senator, I understand you have some inside information on what might be going down as we're looking at the Senate floor right now?
Yes, I believe.
We had a DSA candidate run for city council. The Dem Party sued to get her off the ticket. She won the lawsuit and got more votes than the Republican and Democrat they ran to sabotage her combined. Easy clap. Mr. Reboot, let's fucking go.
That you're going to see the Democrats meeting in caucus yet today, and as soon as tonight or in the morning, I believe there will be somewhere between 10 and 12 Democrats that will vote to reopen the government and to extend government funding for a few months to give them time to negotiate some important appropriations matters and also to begin negotiating some kind of relief for the American public on health care costs. It will not be the majority of the Democrats. There will be enough that the government will reopen.
Okay, but that is with regard to the Senate. It was discussed by our colleague Kevin Fry, who said the tenor of things in the House remain considerably different. There's not been communication between both sides. We're in the 7th week now of House members not being even on Capitol Hill at the behest of the leader, Mike Johnson. Give me your sense of what happens after this vote, if indeed you're right and your sources help with the 10, 12 Democrats you're saying that might say, great, we're going to vote to reopen the government under these conditions. What then?
Well, it puts tremendous pressure. I mean, Mike Johnson can stay on vacation, but what the Democrats are saying, those that are going to vote to reopen the government, is we have made it very clear to the American people who's on their side. We've made it very clear the lengths we will go to bring attention to increasing health care and everything increasing in terms of price, that they're looking after those people that try to make it all come out even at the end of the month instead of feeling like they're drowning in terms of their...
Basically what's happening, chat, just so you understand, is that the Democratic Party is taking the air out of the tires of resistance to Trump. Because what Trump is doing is he was creating political momentum that was real. People were uniting across racial lines, across political lines, because they were facing loss of food, loss of healthcare. And there was a moment where there was going to be appetite for real reform, real anti-capitalist left-wing energy, momentum, and anger against the Republican Party and against our government. And so what the Democrats are doing is saying, whoa, 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 the left is growing, whoa. When you saw the landslides on Tuesday and Zohran Mamdani winning a majority, you were like, oh my God, Americans are getting it. They're finally understanding. We need to fight back. And the centrist Democrats saw that and said, uh-oh, status quo is under threat. Better join the Republicans and cave. We better make everybody feel like, what's the point of helping Democrats? What's the point of doing anything? Let's become apathetic again. That's the point. They're trying to convince you to be apathetic so there are no more Zohran Mamdanis. There's no more Summer Lees. There's no more Rashida Tlaibs. There's no more Ilhan Omars. They are trying to convince you nothing better is possible. That's why this is happening.
Economic situation. So if Mike Johnson decides that after there's enough Democrats to begin negotiating in earnest about relieving healthcare costs, if he thinks that he can continue to tell everybody they don't have to come back to work until after Thanksgiving and they're on a paid vacation, I just think that would be political malpractice on his part. I would have to believe they will come back in and realize that they have an opportunity now to show whether or not they care about anybody but the billionaires.
We are getting word, backing up your sources as well, that the Senate Dems do plan to huddle for a caucus meeting. That we're hearing around 5 o'clock, so that's, what, an hour and 45 minutes or so from now. Will there be in that session a strategy of which Democrats will vote with Republicans? How does that work, or is it just an individual's choice?
It's well, Alex, in most of these situations, it comes down to individual's choice. We are still, thank goodness, you can't gerrymander states. So we have Democrats representing purple states. We have Democrats representing states that have Republican leadership in their legislatures and in the governor's mansion. So you have some Democrats that are looking for a moderate path to reopen government, but with an eye toward really finding relief for the people that they've been standing strong on behalf of. So I think you could, clearly the ones that aren't running again will probably be voting yes. You're talking about Gary Peters, you're talking about Jeanne Shaheen, you're talking about probably some of them that are from purplish states that would be willing to do it. Sandberger said it's time to reopen the government. It wouldn't surprise me to see the senators from Virginia agreeing with her because of the impact it has on their constituents. So Angus King is very independent-minded. He was not happy about this in the beginning.
Why are we listening to Claire McCaskill? Because this is what the Democratic Party is. This was Hillary Clinton's, one of her closest friends. She got fucking owned, destroyed as a centrist, and now she's on MSNBC telling you how doing her strategy is the way to win after she lost doing that strategy.
And foresaw that, yes, we can make a point, but eventually we're going to have to get the government open for the people who need it. So it will be, but there's not pressure put one way or the other. I will be very surprised if any of the senators criticize any of the other senators, their colleagues in the Democratic caucus, for the vote they take, whether they vote yes or whether they vote no.
But Claire, I should say, we've been on the air for a couple of hours, and it has been discussed several times on this broadcast already that Democrats can't trust Republicans. They can't trust the Trump White House to follow through on certain promises. Do you have a sense of what they can and can't trust Republicans on right now?
Well, let's remember this. There is still the 60-vote margin that's required in the Senate. Mm-hmm. The Democrats in the Senate, there still takes 10 or 12 Democrats on everything that the Republicans want to do, with the exception of reconciliation and a few executive appointments. But the vast majority of the legislating that Republicans want to do, they're going to have Democrats. So it's not like they don't have the opportunity to block things going forward. They can stand up and block again if the Republicans go back on their word and don't do what they're agreeing to do in this very public and very well-known negotiation. So it will be very clear what the Republican leadership has promised in the Senate, and it will be very clear if they break their word. And after the results we had in the elections just this past week, I think Republicans know that they're on notice. And I believe they will hold good to what they're promising they will do in return for these Democrats agreeing to reopen the government.
Claire, do you have any concern that the president's...
The Democrats have gotten the ultimate concession. If Donald Trump lies, he'll look bad. The Democrats have gotten the ultimate concession. Donald Trump will look bad when he lies. I want you to understand something, chat, that the reason why they can't come up with anything is because they know this is silly. They're just Republicans. They're serving their billionaire donors, and their heart's not in the lying anymore. Until you actually until people start getting ripped out of office from this type of shit, they don't care. They don't even bother lying to you anymore. They're just Republicans. They're Democrats in name only. They do not give a shit about betraying the party, betraying their base, betraying the country, to paying 70% of us because they've got their cushy jobs, their donor gigs, and like what happened with Kyrsten Sinema. She was a swing district candidate, right? Swing state. She sabotaged Biden's time in office. She got thrown out of office. She couldn't even run. A new Democrat came in and replaced her. And then what happened? She went and got hired by AI as a lobbyist. And she got her bribes. She got a reward for blocking it. And that's what this is. It's going to be this forever until we make those bribes illegal, until we start throwing politicians out of office for betraying the party, until we end super PACs and donor money running our politics. The shit will never stop.
Constant hammering on Republicans to end the filibuster is going to take root somewhere. I know at first there was a resounding no, and it was as if they were ignoring him and his, pounding on social media about this. But it's been suggested that there are some who are becoming more open to the idea. Do you worry about that being overturned legitimately?
I don't think so, because remember, you have to have a majority of the people to overturn it. So you would have to have pretty much every Republican to agree with it. And I am confident, particularly some of the ones that have been there for a long time, like Susan Collins, some of the appropriators, I am confident they would not be in favor of getting rid of the filibuster, because they know, especially with what happened on Tuesday. I mean, I think, and I said this on the air Tuesday night, I believe that the Senate is now in play because you can tell that people are ready to vote and they're ready to, restore some sanity with a guy tearing down the White House and sending out masked men to disappear people. I think there is an opportunity here, and they know that the chances of them being on the receiving of a simple majority are pretty good. I mean, the Senate has gone back and forth in control over the last 2 decades, and it will continue to happen. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I think that they know that they would be really disadvantaged if a Democrat were to take the White House and the Democrats would control the Senate and they had done away with the filibuster. And it would cause a real yo-yo in government, even more so than we have now. So I don't think that would happen, because I don't think they could get enough votes to overturn it. They might get 30. They might get the MAGA hardcores, but I don't think they'd get the Mitch McConnells and some of those folks to agree to it.
Which also, I presume, indicates that whatever Donald Trump is saying, and he's saying, oh, the Democrats will do it if they get a chance, you're saying, no, they won't.
Yeah, I don't believe they will. And, there was a lot of pressure, as you might remember, Alex, for the Democrats to do away with it. And then some of the Democrats said, yes, we should. I don't think that will happen. I'll tell you what else won't happen, and I think it's important to make this point. How many years have the Republicans been yammering about Obamacare?
Okay, guys, I've got to pause it, and go back, because what you just heard was the most anti-democratic screed. It ends with a D. I have ever heard. And it was very subtle. Did you guys notice? Did you guys notice what she said? What was the anti-democratic thing she said? What was the fundamentally anti-democratic thing she said, which is why centrists are fascist enablers? There is a very specific line she said, which was an anti-democratic screed. She said, the yo-yo. Ding, 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 ding. That's correct. Somebody give Scurvy here a sub because they are correct. They deserve it. Correct. She said, if we get rid of the filibuster, the government will yo-yo back and forth. Now, some people would say that's called democracy. Can, politicians run on something, they win the election, and then they pass their agenda quickly and efficiently, and we test their theories of change. And if it doesn't work, people can vote for a different party, and then they run and implement what they say. I actually think, I'm not being hyperbolic here. I think that this idea is treason. I think Claire McCaskill should be tried for treason for specifically advocating for what amounts to, who's ruling us? If I can't vote for change, who the fuck is ruling us? It's treason. Here it is.
Restore some sanity with a guy tearing.
All right, chat, we have a hype train right now. Open presents. Thank you for the 25 gifted subs. Zaffy Taffy, thank you for the 5. Right now is the best time to support the stream during hype trains, because there's the top sub gifter, the top bit donor get the hype train conductor badge next to their name, which is a golden locomotive, and then you get to keep a purple locomotive in the future. What kind of leftist doesn't like trains? There's also a lot of people here working paycheck to paycheck, parents of young children, college students, people on a fixed income because of retirement or disability, or just regular people struggling to make ends meet. If you appreciate this chat, continue supporting the stream by subscribing. Why are we getting upset that the Dems are openly trying to alienate their base to destroy the party? Oh, thank you for asking me this question. This is one of my favorite questions to answer. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a "I've known this for so long, what took you so long" comment. In leftist spaces, especially online, you get this type of comment a lot, which is like, "I can't believe you are mad about this. Everybody knows the Democrats are not a real opposition. Everybody knows that blah, 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 blah." Some sort of like, "I've known this for a while now" comment. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question, Rosa. Do you think I'm just figuring this out right now? Do you think that I'm figuring this out for the first time right now? And I'm like, oh my God, the Democrats establishment is actually part of a uniparty that doesn't care about what their base voters want. It is really a fake up. You think this is the first time I figured this out? Sorry, I'm not trying to say it. I know you know your shit. No. I know you do. I'm not trying to bully you. I'm asking you this question. Listen, this is liberalism inside your body. Liberalism is trying to convince you to be apathetic. Liberalism is trying to convince you that everybody is cynical. Everybody knows this. Blah, 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 blah. Why are you getting exercise? Why are you getting emotional? Why are you getting worked up? Because and the reason why I say this is liberalism is inside of you is you're failing theory of the mind. You are not capable of thinking about everybody. Well, I know you are capable, but you are not currently thinking about the minds of other people and where they are at. You are stuck where you are at, what you know, what you experience. And you're like, why isn't everybody doing what I do? Why doesn't everybody know what I know? A long time ago, I stopped assuming people knew anything when I talked to them. I no longer assume people know anything when I'm talking to them. When I talk to someone, you know what I do? I try to do questions to identify a person's level of knowledge. And I never act with any amount of judgment, and I never assume they know anything. I assume that people know nothing. So you're like, why are we getting upset that Dems are openly alienating their base and destroying their party? Because the average person doesn't know this. That's why. I do not orient myself toward the already converted. And I want to convince the already converted to be mad and stay mad. The worst thing you could do as a leftist is this kind of like presumptuous air of superiority and this jaded personality where you're like, I knew this already. And what took you so long? This is the worst thing you can do. It is so unattractive. It is so arrogant. It is such a bad way of convincing people because most people don't know this shit. Most people don't know this shit, so don't do this, ever. I agree with you, by the way. Why don't people know this? It's crazy to me that they don't. The point is to convince them, to switch the... Think of the wine mom... This is what I think of in my mind. This is my version of the Baileys. Think of that wine mom normie who loves Obama and loves AOC and hates the Republicans, okay? Think of that person. That's Mike's Baileys, okay? That's the Lindas, okay? The Lindas and the Dianes, all right? I'm not going to act like I'm some sort of politics knower and they're stupid for not figuring this shit out yet. Show outrage because I model the emotion I want her to have. This is the only thing I do that you could say is slightly inauthentic. I'm admitting it. Is I keep my anger at every betrayal. I expect it, but every betrayal is still a crime. Just because I have finely tuned radar and just because I could figure this out and I could see it coming doesn't mean they didn't commit a crime. It's like having street smarts. If I'm walking down the street and I see a guy kind of skulking and acting fucking squirrely and weird, I could think to myself, okay, that guy's a threat. I got to keep my eye on that guy. That guy is, if he approaches me, he's going to be checking me. I might be in danger. Me understanding that is street smarts, but it's still a crime for him to come up and try to fucking mug me. Do you get what I'm saying? So just because we could see this coming, just because we know what's gonna happen, I'm still fucking pissed when they betray us. I'm still pissed when they do the squirrely shit. And the reason why I do that is because I want regular people that are normies to understand that their anger is right and justified. I don't want them to be like, well, that's just how politics works. All politicians are the same. Why do you even care about this stuff? That's stupid cynicism. Makes you apathetic, and that protects the status quo. So to answer your question, the reason why I get mad at every betrayal is because that is the right emotion to have toward betrayal. To adopt this kind of like nihilistic, jaded, cynical persona is apathetic liberalism, and I despise it. It's the same way I feel about doomerism. Doomerism is surrender. Doomerism is the declaration that you can't win, so why even try? Fuck you. We haven't lost until I'm dead. If I'm the last person in the last trench fighting against these people, then so be it. I will never surrender. I will never give up. I will never stop. And that is the attitude I want you to have, because that's the attitudes winners have.
You can tell that people are ready to vote, and they're ready to, you know, restore some sanity with a guy tearing down the White House and sending out masked men to disappear people.
The tyranny of the not surprised guy. Yeah. Holy fuck. This is such an important argument. There's the tyranny of the annoying, and there's the tyranny of the not surprised guy. They're actually related, oftentimes to the same guy. Are you a not surprised guy? Are you not surprised all the time? Do you go through life constantly being not surprised by major news events? If so, you may be a not surprised guy. The not surprised guy wants you to know he's not surprised. The latest political development, poll, maneuver, triangulation, he saw it coming. He knows the score. He's savvy, jaded, a disinterested party simply calling it how he sees it. The not surprised guy can't make meaningful statements because it's not clear what he stands for or what he thinks the point of politics is beyond winning. Somewhere along the line, politics veered from a moral enterprise into a form of fantasy football with winners and losers, and the one with the most points at the end of the day wins. Or maybe for some not surprised guys, this was always the case. Pundits have their team and they root for certain players, and the goal, we are told, is to beat the other guy. One of the most grating not surprised guys is Jordan Weissman, who made a career pushing largely banal partisan commentary in the slate, only to be snatched up by a political clone and climate polluter funded DC insider news site Semaphore. This week, President Biden signaled that he would support efforts to overrule the DC Council's efforts to pass limited criminal legal reforms that had included some mandatory minimum sentences. The president cited the make-up fear that prosecutors' hands were being tied because they couldn't lock people up for carjacking for decades on end. Weissman jumped into partisan defensive position, insisting all the DC autonomy and criminal reform activists were being unserious. People are expressing a lot of surprise that Biden would decide DC home rule is less important than his re-election prospects. After pushback and an incoherent, highly speculative defense of Biden's policy, Weissman again scolded a made-up person for committing the ultimate sin of the try-hard left, being surprised. The relevant question to me is whether home rule is such a sacred concept that Biden should do something politically damaging to national Democrats out of respect for it. I don't think he should have, and I don't think people should be surprised by his choice either. Of course, no one was surprised. They were upset. Being surprised is not the same as outrage, a mistake often made by the not surprised guy. In his world, caring about stuff or not maximizing partisan PR at all times is viewed as unserious and petulant. It's not just a glib Twitter formulation. The not surprised ethos and its close cousin, the well, that's just how it is ethos, is a whole mode of political writing and indeed a whole mode of politics. The highest moral order isn't pushing politicians into doing good things. It's knowing they have no choice and defending them on those terms. It's about keeping things in order, batting down harmful meta-narratives, and taking those try-hard activists to task. Whether or not someone is not surprised is not a meaningful or interesting statement. It conveys no new information, provides zero context or meaningful commentary. Fundamentally, letting the reader know you're not surprised is entirely about one's own self-promotion, one's own status as someone who gets it. The thing you care about, they saw it coming. Is it bad or good? This is for all the annoying, unserious internet left to sort out. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is centrist politics and liberalism in a nutshell. You have to be like, oh, I'm not surprised, so you don't get pissed. They want you not to be pissed because anger is an emotion of action. When you're pissed off, you might get off your fucking ass and do something about it. If you're irritated, if you're outraged, you might go and join a primary. You might volunteer for someone. You might donate money. You might run for office. You might get pissed off and do something to change things. Anger is an emotion of action. That's why the number one rule of the status quo defender is to tell you that your anger is inappropriate. Your anger is cringe. Your anger is whatever. Are you outraged by Israel's genocide in Gaza? Well, that's an inappropriate emotion that's going to cause the Democrats the election.
I think there is an opportunity here, and they know that the chances of them being on the receiving end of a simple majority are pretty good. I mean, the Senate has gone back and forth in control over the last 2 decades, and it will continue to happen. So, it's good for the...
And that's, by the way, Chad, that's the anti-democratic nature of Clara McCaskill. Clara McCaskill and the centrist Democrats, they like this. They like barely being that the Senate is flopping back and forth, because that means nothing can change. The filibuster exists. As long as we play this trench warfare game, the status quo will continue. And their donors, who are the winners of the status quo, will keep winning. Whenever somebody's like, hey, we need change, Clara McCaskill to pop up and say, change is impossible, the filibuster. Sorry, that's just the way politics is. That's the point of Clara McCaskill. Clara McCaskill is, she can't make a positive case for the status quo because it sucks. Everybody can see how shit it is. Everybody can see how unfair it is. Everybody can see the country's getting worse. So she can't defend the status quo. But what she can say is, I'm sorry, you just don't know how the system works.
Goose is good for the gander. And I think that they know that they would be really disadvantaged if a Democrat were to take the White House and the Democrats would control the Senate and they had done away with the filibuster. And it would cause a real yo-yo in government, even more.
So what Clara McCaskill calls yo-yo, I call people getting exactly what they voted for. I think it would have been better if Build Back Better, Bernie Sanders' version of Build Back Better, the $6.9 trillion bill had passed. I think it would have been better before the People Act, banning partisan gerrymandering and doing election reform, would have passed. I think it would have been better, and it would have had, by the way, it had a public financing match. If you were a small dollar candidate in the For the People Act, you got a 6-to-1 federal match for small dollar donations. If you pledge not to take more than $1,000 from any single individual, you would get a 6-to-1 match on all your donations. That was in the For the People Act. I think it would have been better for there to be a public option. I think it would have been better for DC and Puerto Rico to be states. I think it would be better for the Democrats' political future and for our country's prosperity. There was more programs that made this a social democratic country. I think it would be better for the climate. I think it would be better for children. I think it would be better for every citizen. Clara McCaskill thinks, no, it's better that we just keep what we have than do anything new.
Than we have now. So I don't think that would happen, because I don't think they could get enough votes to overturn it. They might get 30. They might get the MAGA hardcores, but I don't think they'd get the Mitch McConnells and some of those folks to agree to it.
Which also, I presume, indicates that whatever Donald Trump is saying, and he's saying, oh, the Democrats will do it if they get a chance, you're saying, no, they won't.
Yeah, I don't believe they will. And, there was a lot.
And to say that the government would yo-yo, that's called democracy. That's called democracy. If the American people get Medicare for all and they go, ew, I hate this. I want my health insurance back. And they vote in the Republicans and they strip away health care from the American people to bring back for-profit health care. Well, then the people will have gotten exactly what they voted for. And you know what? I'll be against it, but I'll say that's the consequences. If people could vote for shit and actually get it, that would be a good thing. And Clara McCaskill says, I know better than the hoi polloi. We don't want yo-yoing. That is an anti-democratic bureaucracy of the rich.
A lot of pressure, as you might remember, Alex, for the Democrats to do away with it. And then some of the Democrats said, yes, we should. I don't think that will happen. I'll tell you what else won't happen, and I think it's important to make this point. How many years have the Republicans been yammering about Obamacare and how terrible it is and how they
have all the power? They've got the Senate, they got the House, they got the White House, they got the Supreme Court. Apparently your strategy of Obamacare is good actually isn't working, you dumb fuck. I'm sorry for yelling, but this is just how somebody has got to hear me if I yell loud enough.
Plan. I have yet to see a plan from the Republicans that would give Americans relief on health care. I mean, we sent out the dogs looking for it when I was still in the Senate. Where is this repeal and replace? Well, where is
Which was a long time ago, by the way.
They can never come up with a plan. And the idea that this guy thinks we can just send people checks is just so ridiculous. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't bring the healthcare industry to the place it needs to be. So I'm not holding my breath for the Republicans to have any meaningful plan to help people with their healthcare costs, because if they had a plan, we would have heard about it by now.
Okay. MSNBC political analyst and former Senator Claire McCaskill, it's awfully good of you to call in on this really important today with all
It's like these journalists don't even have questions for her. Can you imagine if Zohran Mamdani was there, they'd be like, do you condemn, are you an anti-Semite?
Developments. And you're welcome to call back if you hear more. We'll be happy to take you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Claire.
Thank you, Alan.
So standing up to Donald Trump didn't work. It actually gave him more power. So
if you're not standing up to Donald Trump, what are you doing? Surrendering to Donald Trump? How's that going to work? How is that going to win? If you're not angry about this, if you don't see, and like the average person, are they going to understand what's going on here? They're not. And that's the problem that we have. The problem that we have, chat, is that the average person is not going to be aware of this. They're just going to see that the Democrats lost, and then it's all about whoever they trust explaining them what's happening. And I'm telling you, the obfuscation of reality is the only reason why the left has not seized power in this country.
Well, Joe, you have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were two goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was practically, well, there was zero likelihood that it was going to. In terms of standing up to Donald Trump,
by the way, the reason why there was zero likelihood is because the consequences hasn't quite kicked in yet, right? It's November 10th. If we actually go through months of no health, the health insurance premium skyrocketing, no food stamps, federal employees not paid, do you know what's going to happen? There's going to be an escalation of pressure on Donald Trump. People are going to end up out on the streets. And because he's president, he will be held accountable. And all he would have to do would either smash the filibuster, which is something we want, or he would start seeing his popularity crater. And the Democrats, these centrist Democrats, protected Trump.
the shutdown actually gave him more power. Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP and SNAP benefits across the country. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to love this. Guess who's getting paid during the shutdown?
You guys voted for the ICE budget. You guys voted for the ICE bill. Mamdani has named his two top posts, chat. Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani named Dean Fullahan, a former deputy mayor and budget director, to be his first deputy mayor, and Ellie Biscard Church will serve as his chief of staff. Ellie is a socialist, and Dean is a well-known, I think he was under de Blasio, wasn't he? Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani made his first major appointments, tapping Dean Fullahan, a well-known veteran of city and state government, to be his top deputy at City Hall. As expected, he also announced that Ellie Biscard Church, his chief of staff in the state assembly and longtime right hand, will hold the same title at City Hall. The selection of Mr. Fullahan in particular was notably conventional after a campaign run on generational and ideological change, but Mr. Mamdani, 34, has long emphasized that he would need the help of government experts to implement his ambitious agenda and contend with President Trump. Mr. Fullahan has more experience than most. A longtime budget expert for the state assembly, he served as former mayor Bill de Blasio's budget director before becoming his first deputy mayor, a job he will now return to. Ms. Biscard Church, 34, is a democratic socialist like Mr. Mamdani and led the small and unusually young group of campaign staff members who oversaw his remarkable rise from a backbench member of the assembly to the youngest mayor in more than a century. I would say, chat, that this is exactly what I expected, and I mean that in a positive way. I don't mean that as a not surprised guy. I mean that in a this is awesome way. Because the only way for him to be successful is to the kind of like wonky nerd social democrats to run in the same direction as him. And then what makes him truly remarkable is that he has a democratic socialist as his chief of staff. And the chief of staff is basically the right hand of the principal. They go out and crack heads. They go out and make sure that what's being done is according to what the will of the principal is. This is honestly, as in my mind, a good sign, because it means like if you have kind of these like social democrats and, you know, social liberals falling in with Zohran Mamdani, it's going to make only the centrist right-wing Democrats outside of him, his milieu, and they're not enough to stop him. The only way they could successfully stop, like, for example, the rent freeze, is to make him seem like he's some sort of radical extremist who's alienated and unpopular. This is exactly the strategy I would expect if he was really going to do stuff like defund the police. Last week, Mr. Mamdani appointed 5 women to run his transition committee. He is expected to make additional appointments in the coming weeks and has been meeting with candidates for school chancellor, among other positions. He also needs to keep his ground game intact. Yes, he is doing that. A new era transition announcement from Zohran Mamdani incoming. Dean Fullahan returning as first deputy mayor from the De Plazo administration. Ellie Bizagard Church as his chief of staff. We're at the Roosevelt House on UES, where FDR did his own transition, Mamdani says. One of the things that people don't know is that FDR was actually somebody who was against American imperialism. He believed in reining in the U.S. and he picked a vice president during World War II that was exactly on that wavelength. It wasn't until he was almost dead and Truman got in that the Democratic Party turned into the imperialist party it remains today. HKS lecturer advised Zohran Mamdani on sustaining momentum, avoiding the Obama trap. Harvard Kennedy School lecturer Marshall L. Gans met with incoming New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani in August to advise his campaign on how to sustain a grassroots movement once in office. Gans, a political organizing scholar who played a central role in Obama's 2008 campaign, said Mamdani's team was keen to avoid a widely reported misstep of Obama, sidelining the organizing base that elected him. How to avoid the Obama trap. How to avoid having built a really great organization and just dissipating it. They're trying to learn from the past, not repeat it. The deep investment they made in leadership development, nobody's done that since the Obama campaign. Sometimes wisdom is recognizing a good thing and supporting it, rather than saying, oh, this sucks, do it my way, Gans says. That's the arrogance of our political class, and it's the arrogance of the consulting industry. But that's not what this was. Wholly based. Wholly based. All right, chat, let's take a moment and let's watch the new John Oliver. It's on felony murder, which is one of the most insane. Who doesn't know what felony murder is? You can admit it. Most people don't know what this is. Do you guys know what felony murder is? Seattle race is still being counted. Okay. Felony murder is basically if you are involved in the commission of a felony and anyone dies, you're a murderer. And you are charged with first-degree murder, even if you had absolutely not good enough. Because if the cops shoot at you and miss and hit the bank teller, you could be charged with murder. Agree with that law. Don't torture a pig. Don't torture a pig. I think one of the issues is that for a lot of people, a lot of conservatives in general, it basically just comes down to if somebody commits a crime, they should die. That's kind of what conservatives in general pretend to believe, not knowing that they commit crimes constantly. And fundamentally, conservatism is the law should bind others and protect me, right? And so they have kind of a baby brain understanding of things. And yes, teenagers breaking into a house to steal a TV is fucking bad. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to have my door kicked in. I don't want my shit stolen. And they absolutely should have to deal with some sort of restitution, and they should have to make good for what they've done, and they should be forced to have some sort of rehabilitation process. I'm sorry, call me Tanky Mike. If you do antisocial personality shit, I feel like the community is within its rights to make sure that you are rehabilitated, okay? Tanky Mike is in, okay? Sorry. Anyway, but to a homeowner, by the way, that shooting is insane. I'm sorry, killing someone, like just blasting right away, that's insane. America's insane. America is fucking insane. And people are just like, someone broke into my house, I'm blasting. I think that's actually insane. And the reason why it's insane is because there's a lot of legitimate reasons that someone might break into your house. I can come up with like 8 right off the top of my head. A firefighter notices that there is smoke or flames wicking out of your attic. You don't see it outside. You don't see it from the inside of your bedroom because it hasn't gone to the level where it's noticeable for you. Somebody breaks into your house because a massive car crash happened and nobody has a cell phone and they're trying to get to a phone to call the authorities. There's a blizzard and people get trapped outside and they realize if they can't get shelter, they might freeze to death. A child breaks into your home because their pet crawled into an open window and they're chasing them. Now, is that appropriate? No. But is that death sentence? No. There's so many reasons that somebody might come into your house are legitimate and could be scary for you if you come across them. That's why I'm not in favor of just, oh, someone's in your house, blast. I think that is fucking stupid. Now, if somebody attacks you, well, then that's a different story. If somebody attacks you, sorry, they deserve to get blasted. That's, you know, that's my line. I mean, that's my line. Just being in the house, I think that's insane to just be blasting people. There's also been cases where teens have been sneaking back in and been shot. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't like it. Or somebody gets super drunk and they accidentally stumble into their neighbor's house, which again, that's not cool. That's fucked up, but I don't think you should get the death penalty for it. Self-defense should be proportional to the aggression. Exactly. I agree with you. My neighbor did that last week. Some people think that you should be able to blast your neighbor with a gun. Very recently, a cleaning lady was shot for going to the wrong house. That's another thing. What if you're a plumber or an electrician or a cable guy and you misread the fucking house numbers? You know what I mean? Like, that is a minor mistake, and then we're escalating it to the death penalty. I think there should have to be some level of aggression towards a person before blasting is on the table. That's just me. That's just me. I think that's the line. Didn't they just knock on the door? In apartments all the time, sometimes the maintenance crew need to go inside apartments in order to like solve some sort of issue. If the homeowner doesn't respond, sometimes they come in, like say there's an electrical problem or water is leaking, or you know, there's all sorts of things that can happen where the super or the maintenance crew need to get into an apartment unannounced. This is just reality. And if you don't hear the knock, if you have fucking white noise playing and you've got a, you know, you're in your bed and you're sleeping off the night shift, you might not know that a person's coming over and then they're in and then you just start blasting. That's fucking crazy. The point is, someone being in your house should not give you permission to just go and start blasting. There should have to be some sort of aggression toward you first. That's the line I'm saying. I don't think it's justified to just start blasting whenever, if somebody's in the house. That's called like understanding. We preserve human life. The cop went into the wrong apartment and shot the guy who lived there. That's called murder. That would be murder.
He was 15. He was robbing a house in Alabama with several...
Are you justified to carry to your house if someone breaks in? Absolutely.
...friends, and one of them got shot.
But if they break in and then they see you and you go, what the fuck are you doing? And they run away, you should not be able to blast them. That's me. I don't think you should be able to blast a guy. Now, if they break in and they're like, I'm going to kill your ass, and then you blast them, well, then you're fine. That's okay.
He refused to plead guilty to felony murder.
Insane, there's no time to decide that. Yes, there absolutely is. This isn't a fucking... You need to stop watching, like, true crime insanity. If you see someone in your house and you say, hey, what are you doing? You have time. If they turn towards you aggressively and you blast, well, then we have a difference. Now we have a trial, right? But the idea of like, oh, someone's in your house, you could just blast. Oh, it turns out it was a fucking firefighter who saw fire in your attic. Whoops. It used to be until very recently that you had a duty to retreat, which is if you saw someone in your house, you had to actually run to your bedroom or try to run out of the house before you were justified blasting. Only if they pursued you and there was no reasonable avenue to retreat were you justified in self-defense. Then it was changed to you have a duty to retreat in public, but you don't have a duty to retreat in your home, meaning a person, if they aggress towards you in your home, then you have a justified right to self-defense. We have gone crazier over time on this issue. It used to be that you had a duty to retreat in the past. Like, we have gotten even more bloodthirsty now than we were 100 years ago. Is that not insane?
It's pretty understandable.
Can you tell me why?
What if the robber has a weapon? Is that enough? I think that would be a reasonable case. If you see it, if they're carrying a gun, shooting would be more justified because, again, of the threat.
Why didn't you take that plea deal?
I knew I ain't do it. Like, I'm not.
Mike, can we add this? Why the fuck would we add this? Why the fuck would I add has lemon?
Cop out for no 25 years for a murder I ain't do, and the people who did it, they got free.
Can we add this? Yes, we could add this. This is funny. Cuomo. Guys, add this. At who has the authority to add this? At Condition Bleen. At Condition Bleen. He can add that. I'm not logged in because I changed browsers, but I don't feel like doing that right now while live. I'm in Beijing. I hope they have a good time, man. I hope they have a good time, dude. I hope China is everything. I hope they have a good plan and like itinerary. I really, really, really want them to have a good time. Do you think Hassan meets with a rep of the CCP? I think it's dangerous to do that, unfortunately. I think insane it is to say, I think it's dangerous to do that because America's insane. And so you can't just like talk to the leaders of the other country superpower and just have a normal conversation. Like, I don't think you can meet with them. As dumb as that is, as bullshit as that is, it's okay if it's Israel, though. Yes, because we support Israel's genocide. And felony murder is basically, if you commit crimes and someone dies, we want you to be punished really harshly, and has a certain logic to it intuitively. But when it's stuff like the cops start blasting, where it's like, wait a minute, how could it be felony murder if the killing itself wasn't murder? You could just vote not guilty. There's no like rules. You could just vote not guilty and no one can do anything about it. As long as you're not taking bribes, you could just vote not guilty. If you think of a law as bullshit, just vote not guilty. You don't have to have, you could just be like, I think this law is bullshit, not guilty. That is why we have juries. Census equals money for prison CEOs. It's like a mortgage. 20-year sentence is like 20 years of taxes, paying $20 for bodega sandwiches, a bologna sandwich. And I have a theory that there's a gender bias too. Second-degree murder sentencing is way less harsh and more likely to be committed by men, like killing your wife in a fit of rage. While first-degree sentencing is much worse and is more likely to be committed by a woman. Being physically weaker, they are less likely to kill their partner in a heated moment, but are more likely to need to plot to kill them. It doesn't matter, because whether it's first-degree or second-degree murder, men do it 95%. If there were only women in this country, the murder rate would drop 95%. Men do all the killing. Men do most crimes in general. A significant majority of crimes are committed by men. Mike, I feel like this is going to push those loser Dems over the edge. This was all about the filibuster. Can't type. John Fetterman. I should have quit. My stroke almost killed me. Depression almost drove me to suicide. I made it through only after a stranger reminded me what I still had to live for. You don't have anything to live for, John. Just quit, man. Just quit. You're going to get fucking primaried anyway. Like, John Fetterman is not going to be the United States Senator from Pennsylvania. Like, he's gone. He's fucked. He's gone. He's despised by Democrats. Republicans only like him because he's clowning on Democrats. And then the moment a real Republican enters the race, though, all the Republicans will support the Republican. So John Fetterman will have no support whatsoever, and he'll drop out. This is what happened to Kyrsten Sinema. It's going to happen to John Fetterman again. Like, whenever a Democrat works with the Republicans are not loyal to you. They just say, haha, thanks, idiot. And then the moment the race happens, they throw you under the bus. Epstein is calling Hassan Diddy blood on Maine. As soon as Hassan left the country, Epstein accused him of sex crimes. Yes, Destiny is slandering Hassan with accusing him of being a pedophile, because Destiny actually is a pedophile. And he's an admitted pedophile. How the fuck is he not arrested? He's admitted to having child porn. Like, what more is there to say? He literally admitted to having child porn on his computer. Like, I mean, at what point, how is he not arrested?
This video is only for Chuck Schumer. Chuck, how is it that you quitted everything else but this fucking job? You have quit every single level. When it comes to any sort of fight, you resign. But when it comes to sitting in that fucking chair and claiming you're the fucking leader, you'll stand there. You'll stand there, spine that is nowhere near as stiff as a used cum rag, you piece of shit. Why can't you go away like your cousin Amy? Why do you gotta stick around? Why do you have to sit there looking, oh, we're gonna fight? What fight? What fight? You just lost the shutdown, 40 days, 40 biblical days. You were like Moses in the desert. We're gonna lead people to the promised land. And what'd you do? You fucking quit. And you were such a goddamn coward you couldn't even vote for it yourself. You got a gaggle of 8 old retirees, John Fetterman's brain damage. You got 8 of them together, none of which who are up for fucking election. You got 8 of these fuckers together, and then You tried to QB sneak across the fucking finish line. Oh, we got a pinky swear. They pinky swore promise us that they would vote possibly in the Senate. They're not gonna do shit, Chuck. My healthcare costs for my family, a family of 3, just went up $2,000 a year. I don't have subsidies. The entire fucking economy's teetering on a fucking knife's edge. You ruined everyone's fucking Halloween. You threatened fucking Christmas. You talk this big fucking game. We have a shutdown. We're gonna hold Donald Trump accountable. And then Sunday night, 10 p.m., you fucking fold. You fold on fucking everything, but when it comes to giving up that fucking bullshit little title of leader, oh no. Oh, God forbid, Schumer fucking pretend that he isn't a leader. Bag of shit. Chuck the cock. This video is only for Chuck Schumer.
An honest, politically astute assessment, and frankly terrifying in its implications, it confirms Senate doubts to protect their inability to pass major legislation with a power, even if it means helping Republicans and losing the goodwill of their base. Correct! Tom Thumb! Even the dumbest centrists are starting to understand the Democratic Party is a sham. It's almost as if Mike was right, that if Kamala Harris is defeated, that it will be really bad for centrist Democrats. We'll see. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it won't be. All right, chat. As the United States keeps losing, China keeps winning. China's announced a new Green Belt and Road Initiative. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Yes. Oh, I have a typo in my title. China, they keep winning.
As you might already know, China is in a league of its own when it comes to renewables, and what we might call green tech more generally. In fact, in 2022 alone, China installed roughly as much solar capacity as the rest of the world combined, and produced the vast...
I want you to understand that, hear that. China installed more solar energy than the rest of the world combined. Do you understand that when people are like, oh, if renewable energy is real, how come China's not doing it? Well, now China's doing it. The last excuse conservatives had to not care about climate change was that, well, China's not going to spend money on climate change. You're just hobbling us and they'll pollute the environment and nothing will get better. Oops.
World combined, and produced the vast majority of the world's solar panels and wind turbines in 2024. Western automakers are struggling to compete with Chinese EV upstarts, and China's near monopoly on rare earth processing, which has become a hot topic in recent weeks, has helped it dominate in upstream industries like batteries. However, in the past couple of years, China has started investing hundreds of billions in green tech projects overseas, sparking talk of a second Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI 2.0, a reference to the world-spanning infrastructure build-out that China funded in the 2010s to better connect China to its trading partners in Eurasia and Africa. So in this video, we're going to look at how China is internationalizing its green tech supply chains, and how this compares to the BRI.
Guys, see, this is evil. They're developing all these countries around the world and giving them renewable energy, and it's evil because American fossil fuel companies are losing profit?
Looking for a Christmas gift for the political fan in your life, or even just yourself? Consider a copy of our
Political Fan. I think if you're this type of person, if you look at politics and you're like, I'm a political fan, you're fucking weird. You're fucking weird. I'm not a political fan, okay? I'm here to achieve ideological ends.
Coffee table book, Assembly Required, which across 300 pages tells the story of some of the world's most beautiful parliament buildings, through stunning photography, custom designed floor plans and maps, as well as detailed stories written out by our team. Find out more and pick up a copy by clicking the link in the description. So let's get straight into it. In short, since the pandemic, China has been dramatically ramping up its...
I wonder what country they printed that book in, chat. I wonder what country they printed that book in. Which country did they print their glossy liberal politics book in, do you think?
Overseas investments in green tech. According to a recent report by the Net Zero Industrial Policy Lab, overseas investment quintupled between 2020 and 2021, before quadrupling again in 2022, and then roughly doubled again between 2022 and 2024.
Funnily enough, You know who predicted this, chat? Marx.
Around half of these projects target solar and batteries, but wind, new energy vehicles, and green hydrogen are also in the mix. To be clear, these projects aren't so much about generating renewable energy. Chinese companies aren't setting up solar farms or wind turbines, but rather are building factories to manufacture stuff like solar panels and electric vehicles, or the components that go into them. The scope of these investments is staggering. In 2024 alone, China invested over $70 billion in overseas green tech projects, with projects spread across 54 countries and every continent. Although a plurality of investment does seem to be going to Southeast Asia specifically. So, what's driving this massive investment boom? Well, some of this is just Chinese companies responding to their economic self-interest. There's a lot of manufacturing already happening inside China, which has meant lots of companies competing over a limited pool of raw materials. Chinese companies can therefore gain a competitive advantage by setting up shop in another country with more plentiful, and thus cheaper, material inputs. A number of Chinese companies, for instance, have set up battery plants in Indonesia to take advantage of its abundant nickel reserves. But internationalizing China's green supply chains also endows certain strategic advantages upon the CCP. By investing early and dominating these supply chains, the CCP essentially gets to set the standard for green tech products, because other countries know that they have to align their regulations with China's if they want to trade seamlessly with the world's largest green tech producer. This both gives China global influence and allows the CCP to mould the rules to suit Chinese industry. This is something the EU actually used to be good at. Commentators would sometimes describe the EU as a, quote, regulatory superpower because of its ability to set global norms and rules. It also allows Chinese companies to mitigate the effects of protectionism, which is very much in vogue at the moment. Basically, lots of countries have decided they want to have their own domestic green tech industries. To this end, they've implemented protectionist policies like tariffs and local content.
Apparently some of the turncoat Dems are waffling. V posted a video asking people to call. Who the fuck is V?
Requirements. The best known example is obviously the US, which has imposed tariffs in an attempt to encourage foreign companies to set up manufacturing inside the US. But lots of other countries have implemented similar policies. Brazil, for instance, provides preferential finance for green tech companies that use locally sourced components. Setting up production in these host countries allows Chinese companies to basically circumvent any protectionist measures and sell stuff to host country markets. In fact, setting up production in other countries can help Chinese companies access not only the host country markets, but also other foreign markets that have barriers on trade with China specifically. This is particularly helpful in the context of the ongoing trade war between China and the US, which has imposed roughly a 47% tariff on Chinese imports. Chinese companies...
So for, like, if you're young, you guys may not know this, but in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, organized labor in this country said, hey, if you allow American companies to export our jobs abroad, it's going to destroy manufacturing in our country. It's going to destroy our economy. And it's going to make the working class worse off here in this country. And we were told, fuck you, lazy worker. You expecting a vacation and a good pay? You don't have a right to a job. And they moved those companies overseas. And when we said, well, maybe we should tariff them because they have bad pollution standards, they don't have any labor regulations, they don't have a minimum wage, there's no way we could compete. We were told, fuck you, you fucking pissant. What do you want, a handout? But now that the capitalist profits themselves are under threat, now that there are Chinese companies that are competing with them on price, suddenly tariffs can come out of nowhere. Suddenly it's a problem. Now that green energy is coming into this country and it's high quality and cheap, suddenly when it's renewable energy and electric vehicles, suddenly tariffs can come up because the profits of the capitalists are threatened. Suddenly tariffs can pop up again. Suddenly it's a problem. When it was destroying working class families, when it was destroying union labor, not a problem. But the moment capitalist profits are threatened, suddenly tariffs are in vogue again. And the Republicans are doing it.
Have been able to at least partly get around this by setting up shop in countries like Vietnam or the Philippines, which can export to the US at lower tariff rates, and will probably now try something similar in Thailand, Cambodia and Malaysia, which all negotiated tariff-free access to the US market at the ASEAN summit last month. Similarly, Chinese companies can circumvent any protectionist measures implemented by the EU by setting up projects in Germany, Hungary, and Spain. Finally, in the longer term, these green tech investments could help with China's so-called overcapacity problem. In short, at the moment, Chinese companies are just producing too much stuff for the domestic Chinese market to absorb. This imbalance of supply and demand has pushed the Chinese economy into a state of deflation, because too much supply means falling prices. This might sound good. After all, who wouldn't want cheaper stuff? Economists generally consider deflation to be pretty terrible for an economy. This is both because, when consumers expect lower or flat prices, they have little incentive to spend, and because deflation effectively makes debt more difficult to pay off, which can slow the overall economy down as people and businesses pare back spending to make sure they can service any outstanding debts. This is an especially acute problem in China, which has a higher overall debt ratio than most countries. Anyway, moving production outside of China could both reduce domestic oversupply and even help develop the host country's economy. This would be great news for China because richer neighbours can provide a new source of demand for Chinese exports, which would allow China to continue running massive trade surpluses, even if other countries, like the US, try to reduce their dependence on Chinese goods. This is perhaps the main sense in which this investment boom can be compared to the BRI. One of the big advantages of the BRI is that it helped Chinese companies export to other countries, which allowed China to continue running massive trade surpluses and create constant demand for Chinese goods. While comparisons to the BRI can be overdone, unlike the BRI for instance, this overseas investment boom is being driven by China's private sector, and most of the funding is coming in the form of investment rather than loans. In this respect, there is a clear parallel. Both this overseas build-out and the BRI have helped Chinese companies access new markets, and might even help make these countries richer, which will in turn mean more demand for Chinese exports. Moreover, they both help solidify China's international dominance in certain industries, although the BRI...
Okay, so basically what happened is China developed intentionally to build up their country's prosperity, because it's 1.4 billion people, 1.3 billion people, and they did it through, capitalists have been saying is impossible, intentional government planning and regulations. But they also allowed competition, vicious competition, as long as it was for the benefit of the consumer. That's what they fostered. And now that that has proven to be a complete and utter success, because the Chinese Communist Party has not allowed monopolies, has not allowed oligarchs to dominate their government and then build programs to profit them as individuals, like happens in America. Our opioid policies, that was for the Sackler family to profit. Our energy policies, that's for the Koch brothers to profit. Our finance policies, that's for the Mercers to profit. And every major industry, our EV policies, it's for Elon Musk to profit. Not what's good for Americans, not what's good for the economy, not what's even good for the market, well, not what's good for competition, but for specific rich families. That's who runs our shit. We are in a fucking oligarchy. Whereas in China, they have the Communist Party commanding the political heights. And anytime a capitalist starts getting too much power, bonk. Every time a segment of the economy starts distorting it, like the real estate market did, pops that bubble. Every time there is the tech industry starts to exploit workers and create unfair working conditions, bonk, tech industry contained. Every time there's a huge bubble of speculation and it's based on nothing, they ban cryptocurrency, bonk. So they keep robust competition so that prices are low and quality is high for the consumer, but they prevent the formation of the capitalist class into a political entity that could dominate the rest of society. And that is because of, quite frankly, the leadership at the highest levels of the Chinese Communist Party. In America, we're run by the rich, and both parties are the same. The overdevelopment in China means you can get a mini excavator for $2,000. Wait, what?
It all started one day back in June when I was browsing the internet. I ended up on Alibaba.com, and there I stumbled across some incredible deals.
What?
So this day is a real special day. About 3 months ago, I got the good idea to order a mini excavator and finally today it will arrive. really looking
By the
forward.
way, chat, China can build super high-end products as well. But people tend to buy the cheapest crap at the lowest possible price. So if you want super premium goods, they exist in China too. All the super premium brands make in China anyway. They just slap some fucking label on it to convince you it's from somewhere else. But in reality, it's really from China.
To see what's in the box. If it's a mini excavator or the real deal. And I don't really know what I need a mini excavator for, but the prices just didn't seem real. For a little less $2,000, you could buy a mini excavator directly from China. I thought, this right here is insanely cheap. The quality must be... So a few seconds later, I had already sent out quite a lot of price requests to different suppliers. None of the offers I got back were anywhere near the advertised $2,000 price, but still, they were only a fraction of what a similar Japanese-made machine cost here in Norway. So I made myself a little list of my requirements.
That's crazy. $2,000 is insane. How much is a typical excavator? Like 100?
I was obviously more focused on traditional manufacturing, which might stir up some anxiety in Washington. If you're interested in major news events like this, you'll have certainly been paying attention to what's happening in the Middle East recently, with the whole region seemingly in a state of flux. The next issue of our magazine Too Long.
Okay, I looked up Bobcat compact mini excavators, 127,000. Okay, let's go. They got a $42,000 one, 37 for the E17 with the maximum dig depth of 87 inches. And the electric ones, they don't have prices on. Okay, let's take a look at the mini. Did I close it? Oh, okay, here it is. I didn't close it, you liars.
Machine had to weigh 1.2 tons, adjustable tracks, a thumb claw, a swing boom, pilot controls, expandable blade, hydraulic quick coupler, and most importantly, a Kubota diesel engine. Not one of the single-cylinder gasoline engines that most mini excavators come with. I also wanted a bunch of different attachments. Different digging buckets, grading buckets, pallet forks, an auger, a grapple, and so on.
What?
And after a while, I
many?
got a reply from my friend, Michael. He works at a Chinese manufacturer called Jining Volt Machinery Technology Company Limited, located in the Northeast. In
What
short,
the fuck?
Volt
All
from
that?
China. So there it is.
Honestly, you're getting most of your money back from the wood in the pallet. Have you tried to buy lumber lately? Oh, Vio has made me French toast. Thank you, Vio. I'm so hungry, chat. Looks really good, Vio. Thank you. She's trying to kill you. Then I'll die with a smile on my face.
Not the biggest machine, but that's what I ordered. A rake. It was really exciting to see what was inside the box. To make things a bit more interesting, I had done almost zero research. I just ordered the machine and tried to forget about it. After a couple of weeks though, I had to tell my significant other. This one would be handy. I told her not to worry about the potholes in the driveway anymore, because I was expecting something in the mail. Just an excavator from the other side of the world. Really spare parts. I must say, I was pleasantly surprised by the equipment that came with it. It actually seemed pretty solid. I hope my machine can actually lift it. It's kind of locked in here, so starting the machine and then the only problem is that the door is on the other side. And the box itself was surprisingly sturdy too.
I mean, it's like wood. I got some nice plywood, man.
It was really stubborn.
Yeah, throw a door on it and start renting it for $1,200 a month. You can set it up in Seattle as a tiny home. The neoliberal strategy for solving the housing crisis.
Yeah, this is stuck. So let's see if I can fit.
$300,000 for 50 square feet.
I'm actually not sure.
That's what the public-private partnership can deliver to you.
So this is a VTW from Volt. And as you see, I ordered it with a Kubota. So I hope it's a Kubota. And it's made in June 2025. So let's see if I can get in there. This is nice.
I mean, that's fucking insane. 2,000? It's actually insane. Dude, I can't get a bicycle for 2,000. 2,000?
So it should be oil in it, but I really don't want to
start it without checking.
Yeah, you should definitely
So let's see what is
drain the
inside there.
oil and the.
Yeah. So it's a Kubota D722 EF18. It actually looks real good in here, and the Kubota fits also, so that's a good thing.
This engine is a compact 0.7 liter liquid-cooled 3-cylinder diesel. It produces 10.2 kilowatts or about 13 horsepower, and it's known for being exceptionally fuel efficient and high quality.
If we go if we go to the cat, where did I put it? Need to organize my tabs better. There it is. Okay. If you look at their bottom tier one, it's 15 horsepower. The E17. So 37,000. And it's an open cab, whereas the one he ordered from China actually has like closed cab.
Is the oil. It actually comes with a grease gun and also some wrenches. Quite a lot of them. And some pliers. Fittings.
We live in an era where people don't even understand how much horsepower really is. So we have cars that have like 500 horsepower for no fucking reason. So people think like, oh, horsepower is not that much. And it's like...
The hydraulics. Let's see. And the instructions is also in English.
Thank you, payment to throw.
Level gauge. Number 14.
So I found it. It was right behind the diesel filter and everything was good to go.
So let's see if there is some power. I guess it's just the fan.
The machine had been started for about 3 months. It fired right up, sort of.
That's crazy for a diesel engine though. Wow. The cab fan, that's an option. That's an option. I don't see the E17. I don't see a cab fan in there.
I had never operated an excavator before. Not a mini excavator either. But right from the start, I felt like a...
Oh god, it was still nailed in.
Are the extensions for the dozer blade.
There's a dozer blade? Bro, this is like crazy. I might order this. 2,000? I might want to order this before everyone does. Oh, 2.4 million views. Fuck. Never mind. It's already happening. God damn it.
This is
now it's 10K. Fuck.
So as you see, there is a cylinder here so that I can tilt the bucket. I want to make a trench or...
The machine was on, so...
Does it fail? Am I about to get owned? Has anybody gone ahead and watched? Does it like fall apart or
so
does it actually work?
I was looking all over the place to find where to fill up the diesel. It was not under here, but it was under there. And then...
By the way, chap, the reason why this is political is because if this costs $2,000 to be shipped from China to Norway, imagine a tank, drone, or an armored personnel carrier. If China has the ability to produce this high quality of shit for such a low price, that is the entire supply chain. That means fighting a war with China is fucking insane because they can make super high quality machinery for a very low price. We can't compete with that. And in fact, the fact that they could do stuff like this, like I'm tempted to buy this just because it's like I could get a plot of land. The main reason I haven't tried to build my own home is I don't want to rent the fucking machinery. If you could buy yourself a $2,000 mini excavator, you could excavate a fucking basement. You can level and grade land. Like, that's the really expensive shit. Like, that's crazy. $2,000? Like, that's a game changer. Doing stuff like putting in a geothermal heating and cooling. If you could get a mini excavator, you could do that. Costs like 20 grand to get the coiling put out. This is a game changer. Like, building one geothermal system using this excavator pays for it 5 times over. Like, that's crazy. As I said, like, so and if you buy it from an American company, Bobcat, 37,000.
But it's not allowed to use.
37,000 for this piece of shit. And look at the options. The auger that he got. These are all options that add on more. And they were all included. It probably would cost you 50K plus.
Sit on the public road. It's just allowed to use on tractors and excavators and so on. And they add color so that if you use this, fuck, it's full.
Oh no, he overfilled the gas tank. Oh fuck.
So I have already got this gravel delivered, and the first project I'm gonna do is to repair all the holes in the road here. There is a lot of them.
That yard of gravel costs more than the fucking excavator. He's maneuvering that little thing. And by the way, the only reason it's so boxy is so it could be shipped in a box. It's like the IKEA of like machinery. Why did Open Presents gift me to sub to this channel? Evidently, their only gift sub. They it's not their only gift sub, but the answer is Twitch decided to give you a sub to my channel. You know, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe Twitch thought that you would like to see Chinese heavy machine, like, you know, cheap machinery, a Norwegian fixing his driveway using a $2,000 mini excavator. Welcome to the Central Committee channel. Anyway, let's keep going.
The first bucket I wanted to test was the 1 meter bucket. And with the hydraulic recoupler, it was super easy to just hook it up.
He's learning, chat. He's trying to learn. Oh my God, he got it. Wow, this is so cool, dude. And with the YouTube video money, like, this is all free. This guy's winning at life right now. Actually winning at life. And because he's got a closed cab, he didn't get rained on. Bro, this is so cool. Well, that's a compactor, chat. I don't know why he's just letting it run on its own, but okay. Or a tamper, thank you, chat. The technical term. Is that the girlfriend? Or the wife? I want to say this is probably one of the most impressive things. Like, if you are not a person who's ever done road construction or $2,000, I'm like, actually, I'm fucking losing my mind. Like, I'm sitting here like, what? Like, what if I wanted a real, like a backhoe? Like, how much for a real backhoe? Like, I almost want to start buying them and renting them out. Like, Jesus, capitalist Mike.
So I was waiting for about, so I got a little. The last time I filled it up, I was only able to fill around 5 liters before it spilled over. After I filled up, I couldn't see anything on. I thought maybe it was some air in this, that the machine can run for about 7 hours with only 5 liters. And now I have filled it up with around 15 liters. I guess the machine will run about 20 hours with only one fuel tank. That's insanely good. Another nice feature is that when the fuel is out, the machine stops automatically. And you can see this little red thing that starts lighting up.
Oh no! He's not that good at it yet, but operator error. But having a forklift is also huge. Bro, this is insane.
So let me introduce you to this video sponsor, Reolink. So they have been real kind and sending me a lot of cameras so that I can upgrade the camera system here at the workshop and also at my cabin.
He's not forklift certified.
So having a hobby like this means that you need to have a lot of, at least that is what I'm telling myself.
He is so fucking Norwegian. Holy shit.
After buying a lot of tools for many years, this workspace is getting quite valuable. And until now, the only security in this workshop has been this guy and this shitty camera. Hold safe. Not a great name. I bought it for about 5 years ago. I think it was working for about maybe 1 week. And about the same time, I bought another camera from this brand, Reolink. I installed it at my cabin and it has worked without any problems every day for all these years. And this was also the reason why I chose a camera from Reolink when I needed a camera in the garage for U1. So this is a Reolink Duo 3V and it's the power over
Ethical
Ethernet
reacts, chat. Ethical reacts. Okay, that's a really long ad, but
video.
And now,
I was just marveling about how Norwegian he is.
back to it.
Mike, do you know what tractor prices are in the US? Yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's actually fucking insane. I bet you can't even buy this in the US. I bet you can't even buy this. I bet you have to pay like 500% tariffs or something if you tried to buy these. So he gave himself like a drone. He's got a cyber plow. I guess when it's only $2,000, you don't care. A claw. Careful, man, don't get cut. What did he do? Oh, is he lifting like a fridge out or a couch? Like, what's he doing? He's just flexing on us now. I mean, this is remarkable because it's like the cheapest one. Again, what if you invested a little bit more and got like a beefier one? That's crazy. Yeah, what's the 10K option look like? Jesus. You could just order it on Amazon even? Oh, they're having an Amazon listing? Okay, but this one's double the price. And it's not a closed cab. And it doesn't come with all the extent. Like he got one that was a lot cheaper than that and a lot better. Mike, if you want more fun stuff today. Okay, chat. Now it's time for us to have a little bit of fun with the Eric Adams Ziwe interview. We got cut off on Friday, but I wanted to watch this. China keeps winning, but I have been a Ziwe fan for a long time. If you're a long-time Mike from PA head, you know that I simp for Ziwe. I think Ziwe is a comedic genius and is probably the scariest interviewer on the internet right now. Criminally underrated. We're going to start from the beginning because it was only 5 minutes. Adam Friedland is terrifying. I can handle Adam Friedland, okay? Ziwe? I'd be quaking in my boots.
Shut up. Tonight, one jokester and a national joke sit across from each other in a bombshell interview. How do you think this went?
My conversation with you?
That's sure to be iconic.
They had him sitting in front of a bag full of cash, smoking out, and then they threw pedals at his feet, and he just ignored it.
Iconic.
I would marry capitalism. Up in this administration, we had a lot of chocolate.
How could anyone platform the disgrace?
I got some good quotes.
Allegedly corrupt
Queens get the money.
Allegedly self-serving.
I stated I'm going to make y'all careers.
Allegedly horny man.
I'm not hitting on you. I'm interacting with you.
Thank you, Mayor.
And history's going to be kind to me.
Because he's the mayor.
Do you see how good this is already? Fuck, she's funny.
Ziwe News Network starts now.
This is an honor, a pleasure. This is American history.
Love it so well. And look on these walls. You would think there is no history with us if you just look at these walls. My face is going to be up with David Dinkins.
Oh, your face will be up with David Dinkins. I believe that, I received that, and I hope to get a copy of your portrait.
Yes.
May I start the interview?
Yes, you can.
Hi, I'm Ziwe, and my next iconic guest is the 110th mayor of New York City, baby. Please welcome Mayor Adams.
Central Committee is the
May I call
New
you
York of
Alec?
Twitch.
Yes, you can.
And do you have a bag of cash for me?
No, not at all. You know, I left it downstairs.
Now, Mayor Adams, you spent your tenure as mayor waging war against the rats. Now, unfortunately, you've dropped out of the race. Would you say that rats have won?
Not at all, just the opposite. Rat complaints have decreased in the city. We containerize garbage. They told me it's going to take me 5 years. We did it 3.5 years.
Guys, we got trash cans. It took me 3.5 years.
And if anyone ever bumps into a rat, they think about it all day. Don't tell me you like rats.
I don't like rats.
Okay, if you lifted your toilet seat and Mickey popped out, you'll never sit on that toilet seat again. If you take your garbage lid off and Mickey pops out, you'll never take that lid off again. So I did a great favor for you and other New Yorkers.
Mickey's a mouse, sir, not a rat.
Took one hazard out of your life, the rats.
You've said New York City is the Istanbul of America,
Yes.
the Athens of America,
Yes.
the Islamabad of America.
Yes.
Which international cities would you compare to the following boroughs, like Staten Island?
Staten Island is the Little Italy of America.
Oh, and the Bronx.
The Bronx is the Puerto Rican, Dominican of America.
Those aren't cities. And Manhattan.
Manhattan is probably the United Nations of America.
Oh, okay, we're just listing things. Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is the everything of America.
Everything of America. And finally...
He couldn't come up with one city to compare. Not one city. Four boroughs, no cities yet.
Queens get the money?
That's right. Queens got the money because I gave them the money. And so they should be the most appreciative of America.
Please, to camera, if you could tell Queens to appreciate you more.
Queens, you should appreciate me more. You got the money because I gave you the money as the mayor. Queens get the money.
What's your favorite subway stop to stop and frisk?
All of them when it's used correctly.
All of them?
You know, it can't be abused because I didn't go to federal court to sue with Floyd versus NYPD for it to be abused. But every stop is the right stop if it's used correctly. Because when you're on the train with that beautiful outfit you have on,
thank you.
And all of a sudden you see someone hanging out there. And
how do women live? How do women like? If I was a woman, I would have committed first-degree murder so many times. I would have committed first-degree murder so many fucking times if I was a woman. Legitimately, I'm not even kidding.
They have a bulge on their side and not the bulge that others was talk about.
Oh, wow.
You want to make sure they stop and they frisk.
That felt like a threat.
Well, you may think he has a weapon.
What are you saying right now?
I know. What are you feeling right now?
I don't know what you're saying. Okay, we're moving on. Coming up. Question for you. You once said, New Yorkers, I'm like broccoli. You're going to hate me now, but you're going to love me later.
I got some good quotes. You know that? What about I let my haters be my waiters when I sit down at the table?
Well, that's coming up, but do you want me to skip around? I have a flow in my interview.
When you look at what I've done and the criticism that have come with it, now all of a sudden they realize how good the Adams broccoli is.
The Adams broccoli.
Yes.
Now, you said that you believed that Gracie Mansion was haunted.
Yes.
What are the ghosts saying to you?
You hear them all the time. I hear them all the time moving around. There's one room in Gracie Mansion where there's a lot of banging on the wall, like 3 a.m. in the morning. You know, I don't know what the heck this is all about. Every time I comes in, it stops. There's downstairs in the kitchen, you hear pots move around all the time. You hear people.
I don't want to say anything, but like, he's legitimately dim. He's legitimately a dumb fuck. Like, legitimately stupid.
People walking and chatter and noise.
When he was elected, chat, when he won the primary, the Democratic primary, because the progressive vote was all split and Eric Adams won, the entire Democratic Party was like, this is the future of the Democratic Party. He will be a presidential candidate one day. Eric Adams is amazing. They all rushed to endorse him. They were all like, oh my God, Eric Adams, do stop and frisk. Eric Adams, be corrupt as fuck. Eric, we love you.
Now, normally mayors wouldn't say it. I bet you all the mayors knew they was haunted, and they wouldn't say it because they were afraid on how they were going to be perceived.
Yes, you are the first mayor visibility ghost.
Yes.
I appreciate
But I'm the
that.
first mayor to do a lot of things.
You've called yourself the mayor of swagger.
Yes.
What do you think New Yorkers need more, swagger or rent freeze?
I think that you should have rent freeze and walking with swagger because you got the rent freeze.
Oh, got it. Okay, 2 for 1. I'm going to give you some...
What? He's putting a bunch of landlord lobbyists on the rent control board on his way out.
Quick fire questions, and you tell me which you prefer.
Got it.
Zero bond or zero crime?
Zero crime and zero bonds and in all of my nightlife.
Spirit Airlines or Turkish Airlines?
Turkish Airlines with a lot of good spirit while you're sitting in with more leg room.
Dirty Sprite or Dirty Cop?
What was the first one?
Dirty Sprite.
Sprite?
Yes.
Soda?
Like the Future song.
Oh, okay. So listen, I don't know.
You're in the
You gotta
club.
break it down to me, you know? Or I want clean on both ends.
Okay. Turkish lira or the Saudi rial?
The lira.
Okay. Okay. Coming up, you said regarding
The lira is the most inflated currency. Like, what? That's a terrible bet. What the fuck? The lira? Are you okay? He's not even good at taking bribes.
Election that no matter what happens, Eric isn't going anywhere. When is your next trip to Istanbul?
Well, I'm looking forward to getting back there. You know, the Grand Bazaar is one of my favorite places.
For someone who's been to Turkey so frequently, you never got the hair transplants. What, is that stylistic or?
No, there's something about having a bald head that I just think, you know, bald-headed men got it going on.
Now, you said, this is the city of nightlife, I must test the product.
Yes.
After New York's cooling centers, where's the coolest place in New York to start your weekend?
Oh, God, so many. I would start at the Summit at One Vanderbilt. Sometimes they have entertainment, but it allows you to see the whole city.
Oh, okay.
And then I would go to Chez Margot.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you know, Crane Club.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what people don't realize?
What don't they realize?
They took my evening out and say, oh, he's just hanging out. You know, no, listen, Dad said if you're going to hang out with the boys, you got to get up with the men. And I do it all the time.
I don't know what that
But
means.
a city that never sleeps, a mayor can't even take a nap.
As the nightlife mayor, what time does the club really get jumping?
It depends on where you are. Some of these crazy laws restricted the times that they can stay open. You go to other places and they have a 24-hour district.
Got it.
I think we need a 24-hour district.
24 hours of partying with Mayor Adams? What do you say to critics who think that maybe a 65-year-old man is too old or embarrassing to go to the club?
Well, first of all, let your haters be your waiters.
Okay.
As you sit down at the club night of success, you know. I'm not sure why do people think 60.
Because you 65-year-old geezer, you shouldn't be pawing over 20-year-old women. Stay home with your cats, you fucking freak.
You should not be out. You know, when I get out of the shower and take a look at myself and my six packs and the firmness of my body, I'm living the 65 life.
If you'd like to show your six-pack to camera, please. If you could wine and...
I mean, if I were Ziwe, I would be taking my gun out of my purse. And I would have like a side table, and I would just place it on the side table. Now, I think she can't get that because she's I guess at Gracie Mansion or whatever, City Hall. She probably wasn't allowed to bring a gun in, but Jesus Christ.
Dine the Statue of Liberty on a date, where would you go?
On a picnic somewhere. You know, I like to cook myself. I cook a nice plant-based meal.
Oh,
and then
vegetarian, vegan?
Well, it's just plant-based. It's eating the majority of my meals are plant-based.
Got it.
But I will cook it and show how well I can cook.
And would your haters be your waiters there?
Yes.
Okay. And would you buy the Statue of Liberty drinks?
Yes,
bottle?
I will. Yes, I will.
Would you try to hook up with the Statue of Liberty that night?
I'll do a single malt scotch and a cigar. and find out what she likes to drink also.
Got it.
You would smoke a cigar on a date? That is the most psychotic thing I've heard yet. Now, I've smoked a cigar before, or two, or a 20, or 100. But the idea that I would do a cigar and then like kiss someone is fucking insane. Especially at 65. You know, I could see making that mistake once and then them being like, wow, you taste terrible. It's, you know, tobacco ash breath is not exactly the best kissing breath. But it just shows he has absolutely no ability to like put himself in the shoes of the other person. Have you kissed someone who just smoked a cigar before? Like, come on, man. What? That's crazy.
And wait a minute, I'm not trying to hook up with her. She's out hooking up with me.
Oh, this Lady Liberty.
Yes.
And if you could talk to this camera like it's a shorty from Rockaway,
Yes.
how are you picking them up at the club?
See what happened to you, shorty from Rockaway? You should have hooked up with me and you would have been the first lady of the mayor. You didn't. You know, so you're still on Rockaway, taking that A train, and I'm here at City Hall.
Wow. Coming up, if you were to...
The misogyny. This is what the Democrats put out, by the way. This is not like, this is one thing if it's a Republican freak, but this is what the Democrats are putting out. Women, this is your party? Bro, this is crazy.
DJ at Mar-a-Lago, what would you play to get everyone moving?
New York, New York.
You play Frank Sinatra?
Yes.
And how does it go? How does it go? Could you give me just one bar?
These small town blues. There's only two type of people. Those who live in New York and those who wish they could. This is New York.
How are you an ally to young, attractive black women that need jobs?
When I be
She's so good. Like, honestly, he might be too insane for Ziwe to like pull off. Because the one thing about Ziwe is what makes her such a good interviewer is she makes the person who is typically never self-aware, she makes them be self-aware once, right? And I think Eric Adams might be too powerful of a narcissist even for Ziwe. Like, I don't think it's possible to make him self-aware.
became mayor, black unemployment rate was 4 times the rates of white. We dropped it by 20%. And not only that, I led by example. First time in history, we have 5 women deputy mayors. First African-American to be a chief of staff, second to be a chief of staff. They go through the list.
Wow. Wow.
High-ranking female staff.
Wow.
Yes, yes. Up in this administration.
Growing, I thought it was Ziwe's producer that was doing it. It was his staff members throwing pedals. This lady got a $160K a year job as sports czar. Hey, stop liking my
Has
shit.
this big scar on the back of his head. Big scar, surgery scar. It's like this big. And it's still like sensitive when you touch it.
Why are you touching the back of his head? He's bald. Why would you ever be touching the back of his bald ass head? Not like you're trying to fix some hair that's out of place. Are you caressing the back of his head?
And for whatever reason, like he would love, like I would like rub the back of his head, and he'd always like
sometimes I get shook. I get shook where I'm like, oh, I'm the weird one. I think women are people. I don't think you should use your power to like abuse women and get access to women. I don't think you should. I think you should respect boundaries. This is not only is this happening, but it seemingly doesn't merit mention by any media or anyone ever.
do this like face, like do you know like when you pet a cat, not even a dog, but like when you pet a cat and they like it and they like lean into it and then they act all crazy, like he would do that, like don't stop. But it was sensitive, so I used to pinch it, massage it, and he would just like zone out. I used to think to myself in that moment, like, nobody else is touching your scar. Like it was like, yeah, like nobody touches his scar. It's interesting, even just me saying that nobody touches his scars.
Steve.
Yeah, no, it is, but that's what so I never even thought of that before actually saying it.
I'm sorry, Chad. I can't watch this shit. I can't watch these weirdo fucking narcissists. Like, I get way too. It just throws my vibes off, and I get. It's too gross for me, man. She's too fucking gross, and they're gross. He's fucking foul.
We had a lot of chocolate.
I must ask, did you appoint Jasmine Ray as the city's first director of sports, wellness, and recreation because she was your ex-shorty?
Because she was good at her job, and she did it.
Was she at least a Division I athlete? Like, what is her qualification? Someone please. What was she good at?
Well, and so if you met someone 10 years ago and you hung out with, and you decide 10 years later you wanted to bring them on because you know how good they're at their job, you should do so. That should not be a disqualifier. I'm pretty sure all of your booze, you didn't abandon them merely because you had a relationship with them once.
I've abandoned every boo, for the record. Coming up. Now, Martin Luther King had a dream that we would not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. What do you say to people who think that only white men should be allowed to take bribes?
Well, I don't think anyone should. White men, black men, Chinese men, German men, I don't think anyone should.
Okay, why? All right, you're getting like, what kind of ghetto ass shit interview is this? That's just blatantly racist, bro. Maybe you don't know that, but to say ghetto, but this is far from ghetto. I'm sorry, but Ziwe is whatever ghetto means. Call Ziwe that is just racism. There's no fucking way you could say that unless you think black people equals ghetto. That's the only way you could say that. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you insane?
You want to go from party mayor to party doctor and pursue a doctorate. What field do you plan on studying exactly?
I want to do my doctorate in fixing cities.
Oh, that's...
He legitimately, a 5-year-old would say that. A doctorate in fixing cities.
Boo, for the record. Coming up. Now, Martin Luther King had a dream that we would not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. What do you say to people who think that only white men should be allowed to take bribes?
Well, I don't think anyone should. White men, black men, Chinese men, German men, I don't think anyone should.
By the way, chat, I got under his skin. Oh my God, what a pussy. These bulwark pussies are the fucking worst. I made fun of him. I said, Jeb Bush's 2016 communication director is now one of the leading messaging experts for the centrist Democrats. That tells you everything you need to know. And look at the response that I got. Bro, I just sent your resume. It's the whole reason you have the job. Why is your resume the reason I'm getting blocked? What happened? You're not even as well known as Hassan, yet you're still somehow, they know who I am. Everybody knows they all know who I am. Of course they do. And I don't say that to be an egomaniac. I say that as that's pathetic. That's shameful. They just don't want anyone busting up their narrative that surrendering is good. And because I don't have as much clout as Hassan, they just try to keep me down, basically, right? They boost the people that are fucking worthless, and they keep people down that have actually good political analysis. The only reason they don't do the same to Hassan is because he's so big at this point, they can't. Here he is posting, some random person made a bigoted reply. Now he's like, oh, look at all the anti-Semitism that's occurring. I believe MAGA is an authoritarian project and I said, if you vote to empower the fascists, you are the same as them. When the Center Party voted to give Hitler absolute power, they were no different from the Nazi party members. Your denial of that fact makes you a collaborator. Oh no, I guess you have to block because somebody said, by the way, he was directly quote tweeting Kyle Kulinski. That's why I replied to that. Corporate centrist Democrats are diet MAGA, and today, and every single left of center voter seems to get it now. There he is, the Republican, to make an attack on us and say no, centrist Democrats are good as they're caving to Trump. Cowardly ass bitch. Standard shit. At this point, I'm very used to it.
You want to go from party mayor to party doctor and pursue a doctorate. What field do you plan on studying exactly?
I want to do my doctorate in fixing cities.
Oh, that's a doctorate.
Yes, that's the topic that I want to look at.
Would you say that the former mayor going to grad school is like a recession indicator?
No, not at all. I'm a lifetime learner. Right now, I'm being schooled by you.
Oh, speaking of schooling, you are New York's first mayor to be federally charged while in office. You were charged with 5 federal counts of fraud, bribery, and soliciting illegal foreign campaign donations. How many of those counts were due to racism, do you think?
I think I'm the first mayor that had to fight the federal government to defend this city from a $7.2 billion hole in our budget that will impact low-income New Yorkers, and had to pay the price for that. And history is going to be kind to me to see the valid effort that I had, not only as a police officer, but also as their mayor.
How many black friends do you have?
I can't keep count, many.
15, 20?
500,000.
500,000.
Yes.
All the black people in the city.
And more. We have more than 500,000.
How many do we have exactly?
I don't know the exact number.
Oh, damn it. I wish you did. How many black friends have you ever arrested?
None of my black friends I've arrested.
Do you plan to run for office ever again as a Democrat, Republican, or foreign asset?
Man makes plans and God laughs. I turn on my GPS every morning. My God position is satellite. He drives my life, and he'll determine what I do next.
Amen. You're anointed, really. Are you jealous that George Santos is the president's new favorite criminal?
Whatever his favorite is up to him. I have my favorites.
Coming up. Now, when you were saying that you were going to clean up the city, did you mean by getting your aides and close allies indicted?
No. We've cleaned up so many areas. This has been a home run of an administration.
Play ball. And you are the second black man to be elected mayor of New York. What advice do you have for young black kids from the hood who dream of one day becoming mayor and maybe taking a ride by accident?
Ignore the noise. There are many people who sit on the sidelines and they're not happy you're there. Cassius Clay, who later became Muhammad Ali, a woman stopped him when he got out of the ring, one of his fights.
Why the fuck are you calling him Cassius Clay? Is that a right-wing dog whistle? What the fuck?
And she said to him, Mr. Clay, I never missed any of your fights. And he said,
Muhammad Ali would get, Jesus Christ.
You must be my greatest fan. And she said, no, I want to be there when someone kills you in the ring. There are a lot of people around you as a young person that are there merely because they don't want to miss you.
He's citing a racist who was using the guy's old name that he gave up for political reasons, by the way. That's who you're citing? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Fallen. Don't give them the opportunity to see you fall. Never give up. Continue to fight, and you're going to hit some bends in the road. It's not the end of the road. Just make the turn.
That was a little violent for advice for a child, but thank you. In 2010, you unveiled a city campaign called Stop the Sag in hopes of getting young men to stop sagging their pants. How do you picture a criminal in your head? What are they wearing? What slang words do they speak in? What's their race?
Well, think about it. People laughed at me and they called me names when I did that campaign. Are you seeing it now?
Saggy pants?
Are you seeing young men walking around showing their underwears? In some cases, wasn't even their underwears. They were showing just about their whole rear. It was wrong. And we became so normalized of dysfunctional behavior with our young men of color. How did we go from the era of my dad when they had on fine wearing suits to the days that we're walking down the block with a jail culture and no one was talking about it? And I said, no, I'm not gonna walk around and act like I don't see this. This is wrong. Stop the sag, pull your damn pants up.
Is this how you pick up girls at the club? Like, this is wild. You sound like my dad.
But they're not sagging anymore.
Yeah, some of them are. You see Billie Eilish, she sags. You like Billie Eilish?
You know as well as I do what it was like.
Billie Eilish dresses like Chingy.
Brothers are now concerned about how they look.
Oh.
You know, you look at them now, they're tailored their clothes, they're stepping up their game. You see even some of our rappers are wearing some fine cut suits. You know, that's what we should look like. Because you know as well as I do, before you...
He's such a fucking racist. It's actually crazy. What the fuck is he talking about? He's like, oh, the black community style is inferior. As if there's some sort of like fixed hierarchy of styles. This is mindless conservatism, like actually subnormal levels of just bile. What the fuck? Is he like a Rush Limbaugh fan?
Eat a meal, you see the meal. And there's no way you're going to allow someone coming to you that's not looking impressive. You want to look like this, and you're going to have somebody walking down the block with you.
Keep referring to my appearance.
Yeah, well, I can't. You took time to dress up to look nice.
Oh my gosh.
You know as well as I do, you appreciate the fact that I'm acknowledging how well you are put together.
Let's change the subject. Coming up. Now, you've compared yourself to Gandhi, saying, I am like Gandhi, I think like Gandhi, I act like Gandhi, I want to be like Gandhi. How exactly are you like Gandhi?
There were moments when he was like me, perfectly imperfect, but he was dedicated. And I think his life was cut short. And when you go to India, you'll see his footprints are in the concrete. It is my job is to continue that journey so that bullet did not destroy that journey.
From India to New York City.
Yes.
Favorite Gandhi quote?
I don't have a favorite quote from Gandhi.
You said, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I feel like giving myself the finger.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one of those days?
Not at all. Not at all.
How do you think this went?
My conversation with you? Listen, when I first stopped you, we spoke on the street and you had that nice dog. That's what got me. I love dogs.
You love dogs?
Yes.
Do you have a dog?
No, I want one so bad. I'm going to get one as soon as I finish office.
This is the most inauthentic politician answer I've ever heard. Shut the fuck up.
I couldn't spend time with the dog. You know, a dog needs time. And look how you were holding your dog. Your dog loved you. Now, did you see how your dog responded to me? Because dogs can tell.
And what do you think my dog thought of you?
Your dog adored me. Come on, tell the truth.
Okay.
There's no way you didn't go home and your dog did not give you that look and say, I want to see Eric again. Don't even try that. Your dog loved me and we got a picture to prove it.
Yes, and we're going to show that picture in this interview. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. I am gobsmacked by your brilliance. When you shake hands with people, do you instinctively look for a $100 bill ever?
I look for the firmness of their hand and do they make eye contact with me to see how sincere they are about greeting and meeting.
Greeting and meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, what I appreciate about you is that everything you say is so memorable. Like you are like a modern day Sophocles.
You know, I don't think people realize what's in a person's eyes.
Oh, gosh. Any last word?
Go back to that for a
Oh,
moment,
my
though.
goodness. I just don't want you to hit on me or something that makes me uncomfortable. What were you saying?
And you know what's interesting is that whenever a male gives an authentic...
When somebody uses the term male and female and they're talking about dating, that is the reddest of red flags. As soon as someone's like, female, it's like Ferengi. Like, what? Female? Excuse me? Also, someone mentioned Sophocles to you and then you immediately try to hit on them. That's creepy as fuck. And isn't Sophocles' most famous play Oedipus Rex, right? Isn't that what it is? Which is, it's just like, what? What the fuck? Why are you talking about sex when I mentioned Oedipus, you fucking freak?
Conversation is automatic hitting on you. I'm not hitting on you. I'm interacting with you. Okay. You have some good energy and you know that.
Okay.
So why can't you appreciate me telling you that?
Thank you, Mayor.
If history's going to be...
I don't think he knows who Sophocles is. Well, yeah, of course not. He's only the mayor of the most powerful city in the country. Why would he know some basic stuff?
Kind to me. You took time to dress up to look nice. Think, bald-headed men got it going on. That beautiful outfit you have on, do a single malt scotch and a cigar. I'm not trying to hook up with her. She's not hooking up with me.
This is American history.
And not the budge that others was talking about. When I get out of the shower and take a look at myself and my six-packs and the firmness of my body, I'm living the 65 life. Before you eat a meal, you see the meal.
Thank you, Mayor. And you know that we've met before? We met at Zero Bond like 4 years ago. But you don't remember.
No, I don't.
You were looking at me like this.
I interact with a lot of people all day, every day.
Okay. I need a job, so hook me up. Do you have any last words for Zorn Mondani's New York?
God, he's such a fucking creep. I feel like she could sue him based on this interview alone.
This is New York. It's not Cuba. It's not China. It is the center of capitalism, not socialism. Can't take it backwards. We've made too much success. Got to move forward.
Marry, F, kill, communism, socialism, capitalism.
I would marry capitalism, Israel,
Why did he mention Israel? Do you guys understand? Israel is basically anti-socialism. See, he's so dumb. He accidentally revealed the reality of American politics, especially the Democratic Party. If you are anti-socialist, anti-left-wing, you're pro-Israel. And Israel is the organizing thread of that ideological project. Even though Israel is propped up by billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of outside subsidies and would never be able to exist without the U.S. in the form that it has today, which is an ethno-supremacist state.
Socialism and communism, I would kick to the curb.
Here's a list of things that you love. Marry, F, kill, the Black community, NYPD, Israel.
I would marry, and love all three of them, and I would add on to them Ghana, Senegal, Nigeria,
shout out,
South Africa. Exactly. I love them all. Love is love, and I've shown it to all those communities.
Love is love. Thank you so much, Mayor Adams. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Look, he's got the money in the bag.
Bye. We'll see you on YouTube. He didn't take a book.
Good Lord.
He hates rap.
So he and I have something in common, and I love dogs.
Oh, how beautiful. I love that.
Yes. They tell me you're a big-time influencer.
Yes, an influencer. Sure, yeah, I'm an interviewer who would love to have a chance to talk to you.
Let's do that.
I love that.
The team is going to make it happen.
Okay, perfect.
And so here is...
Yo, you gotta work. You gotta work. You gotta always be grinding.
A dog that's just like me. We hate rats. And we're going to make sure they're packing.
Exactly, and we love trash bins.
Okay, love it.
He wants to be free.
Oh, man. Real
Nice to
pleasure.
meet you.
Good to see you, okay?
Ziwe, what's your opinion on the mayor?
What an icon. Now, as an ally, can you tell people to like and subscribe and follow big-time influencer Ziwe to camera?
Like, subscribe, and follow big-time influencers. Ziwe.
He couldn't even shout her out correctly. Truly, when you think oh my God, this is what centrist Democrats were like. He's a good mayor. God, it's so funny that Tim Miller blocked me for replying to 2 of his tweets as he's doing the propagandize for the cave. Isn't it insane that, like, Jeb Bush's communications director, that's without a doubt one of the least successful campaigns in history, gets absorbed into MSNBC and is now absorbing all the anti-Republican energy. It's going to the Bulwark, which is an especially right-wing Zionist platform. That's what's getting propped up. Authentic creators that, you know, and their entire base is MSNBC wine mobs just going over and going, I guess there are a bunch of really sane Republicans, never Trump Republicans. Yeah, we should move our party to the right to get all the never Trump Republicans, which do not exist. I don't know how you could have a democracy if you don't have an opposition party. Pittsburgh Post-Gazette workers win after 3-year strike. Wait, what? The Third Circuit Court ordered the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette to restore a contract that illegally tore up 5 years ago. That's our healthcare, PTO, right to a 40-hour week, short-term disability, and so much more we've struck for 3 fucking plus years. Holy shit, what a W. The order affirms what we said all along. The Post-Gazette's lawless union busting cannot stand. We made sure it didn't. We're taking back what they stole from us. We won this strike. Unlike many previous rulings in our favor against the Post-Gazette, the Third Circuit has enforcement power. Fucking hell yeah, dude. The Post-Gazette used to be a left-wing paper, and then it was bought by right-wing billionaires. So in Pittsburgh, they had two papers. They had the right-wing paper, which was the Tribune Review, and then they have the center-left paper, which was the Post-Gazette. And then the Post-Gazette was the more popular paper, obviously, and it was bought up by right-wingers, and they fucking just basically made it slop. So one of the top papers in the country was fucking ruined by billionaires buying it, basically to fuck it up.
But let me be clear. However this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight because millions of families will lose health care coverage. We must fight because children who are dying of cancer will not get health care coverage. We must fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin. And make no mistake about it, the American people know who is inflicting this health care trauma on them. Donald Trump and the Republicans. But let me be clear. However this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight because millions of families will lose health care coverage. We must fight because children who are dying of cancer will not get health care coverage. We must fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin. And make no mistake about it, the American people know who is inflicting this health care trauma on them. Donald Trump and the Republicans. But let me be clear.
We've never had a worse. I mean, I think Chuck Schumer may be the worst politician in the entire country.
We start with some breaking news coming out of Capitol Hill this hour. The Senate is in a rare Sunday session, as reports.
Correspondent Ali Vitale. Jake Sherman is co-founder of Punchbowl News and an MSNBC political contributor. With me here in studio, Julie Roginski, Democratic strategist and author of the Salty Politics newsletter on Substack. So, Ali, bring us up to speed. Where are we? What happens now?
We're waiting to see just how quickly the Senate is ultimately going to be able to move on this, Chris, knowing full well that they'll have the votes that they need to do so when they decide to do it. This is where a little bit of Senate magic can sometimes come into play if all 100 members decide to speed up the process. So far, no sense that that is what's going to happen, but at the same time, that is what people are driving toward. I think the general mood up here in the Senate broadly is a little bit of relief that they are finally moving out of the shutdown. At least that's what Senate Majority Leader John Thune echoed as he took the Senate floor just a little while ago. Watch.
I'm grateful that the end is in sight. But I would encourage every member of this body, Democrat or Republican, pro-bill or anti-bill, not to stand in the way of our being able to deliver the coming relief quickly. The American people have suffered for long enough. Let's not pointlessly drag this bill out. Let's get it done, get it over to the House so that we can get this government open.
So that's exactly what the leader is talking about there, Chris, the idea that any one member could kind of gum this process up, but he's asking that they not do so that the House can get their work in order and the government can actually reopen. For their part, the House Speaker was just on a call with his members saying that he predicts a vote to happen on Wednesday. That feels a little bit fast, but then again, we're at the point where this could keep going slowly until it goes really quickly. So it's probably for the best that House members start making their way back to town, and that's exactly what the Speaker told at least his party, but also announced publicly earlier this morning to members of both parties, start getting back to Washington.
Well, I think there's a lot of people who haven't gotten paid who are wondering why people who have gotten paid think Wednesday might be fast, but we can have that discussion another time. Jake, what, if anything, did Democrats get out of a 40-plus days of a shutdown?
Nothing. They didn't get anything. This is the same deal that Senator John Thune, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, offered Democrats weeks ago. We're 41 days into the shutdown. And yes, I agree that they got nothing out of this deal. Now they say they got a year of SNAP benefits. That's not really true, because once the agriculture spending bill passes, they get SNAP benefits. They did halt the reduction in force notices, the mass layoffs the Trump administration conducted during the shutdown, but that wouldn't have happened.
Sorry, Chad, I hit the mute button and didn't unmute. They got literally nothing for it. Zero thing.
Shutdown, or at least not in the same form. They got nothing on ACA subsidies. They got a vote in the Senate. There's no vote scheduled in the House. There'll be some efforts to get a vote in the House, but Mike Johnson has been abundantly clear that that's not something he's interested in doing. So I do agree with Allie that Wednesday does feel a bit quick for a package of this magnitude. But the Speaker said he wants everybody to be back within 36 hours after a Senate vote. And again, it's tough to see Democrats just falling in line, but that jet fumes dynamic after being in session for so long is going to be very strong.
So why is it, Julie? Just now, Democrats are saying, well, I guess the president and Republicans are not going to negotiate. What is it in Donald Trump's history that made them think he was going to feel terrible for people who were hurting?
Let me just say this. We had the largest protests in the history of this country just a month ago. We had the best election cycle that Democrats have had well over a decade, probably close to 2 decades, just on Tuesday. We had poll after poll showing that Republicans are being blamed for this shutdown. And yet these Democrats just capitulated and got nothing for it. I can't explain it other than to say that I think they were terrified that Donald Trump really was going to push Republicans to get rid of the filibuster. So instead of actually making Republicans get rid of the filibuster, they decided to just do it themselves. They decided to just cave themselves rather than waiting for Republicans to do it for them. It is unconscionable. And the disconnect between how real Democrats are feeling today and how these people on the Hill think Democrats are feeling is night and day. I'm also going to just say this. I think all of this was a stalking horse. All of these members who voted for this were stalking horses for others. None of them is up next year, which is why you saw the people who were voted this way. If Chuck Schumer can't get his caucus to do the right thing and either not go down this path 5 weeks ago and inflict all of this pain for nothing, or keep Democrats in a place where they force Republicans to own this, as they have been doing for the last 5 weeks, I don't know what he's doing as leader. I don't understand what these people in Washington think they're doing representing the people who they claim to represent. I'm a New York Democrat. This man does not represent me.
So, Jake, was the strategy
my God. If the MSNBC people are like, he's a fucking loser. Now, a lot of people have said AOC shouldn't run for president. She should run for Senate. No, Zoran should run for Senate. And before you're like, but Mikey just won. Are you a baby? Are you a baby? He'll be in office for years. He'll do as much shit as he can. This is the best chance to make that play. Have a successful 2-3 years as mayor, run for and win the Senate race, and hand off the mayor to one of his NYDSA people. AOC should run for president. Makes absolutely no fucking sense. Who else is gonna run? A bunch of centrist worms? You're gonna put centrist worms in charge of the party for another 12 fucking years? You know what happens when you lose the party? Let's say you put a centrist worm and they, God forbid, win. They'll run for re-election. That's guaranteed. They're going to put in a bunch of anti-leftists all over the National Democratic Party. They're going to be intervening in every single fucking primary election to put in more centrists. They're going to make it as hard as possible for the left to grow. They're going to disappoint everybody, not deliver any change. And then Tucker Carlson, hiling Hitler, is going to come in 4 years or 8 years later. You take the opportunity when you have it. She's old enough to run. It's an open seat. She's the one positioned. She fucking does it. I'm not going to vote for Gavin Newsom or some other centrist who hates the left and is going to do everything they can to sabotage it. Enough is a fucking enough. Grow some fucking balls or some gonads, gender neutral organs. And if it's not AOC, it better be some other dyed-in-the-wool socialist. Rashida Tlaib or something. You know what I mean? Like, we are not going to run fucking Gavin Newsom. That's the only way they could win, by the way, because the country is fed up with narcissism, centrist narcissism. They're fed up with it. The only way they win is if the left does not challenge for power. If the left is not willing to challenge for power now, the project is toast.
From the start. And is Chuck Schumer in trouble?
I don't know that he's in trouble. I think it's too early to tell. Remember that it's very difficult to push out a Senate leader. It just is. There's no motion to vacate like there is in the House of Representatives. But what we could say about shutdowns after having covered them for a long time is that they rarely yield any give any results that you are seeking for the instigating party. Democrats shut down the government because they believed Donald Trump would fold and would cut a deal on health care, and Mike Johnson and John Thune would do the same thing. That did not happen. After 41 days,
they didn't fold because the Democrats folded first. But why did the Democrats fold?
It did not happen, and there was no sign that it was going to happen. Although, I'll say two more things on this front. Number one, Trump did say last week that Republicans were getting blamed more than Democrats for this shutdown, which was a notable statement. And number two, I think it's very likely that Republicans will get the blame for if people's premiums go through the roof. I think people understand Republicans control all of government, which is why you've seen polls, as Julie just mentioned, polls are showing that Republicans are getting the blame for the shutdown. I think people will understand that if their premiums are up 100% or 50% or 200% even, that Republicans will get the blame. And this is going to put Republicans in a position where they're going to be talking about health care, a policy, a topic that has been particularly weak for them over the last 15 years for the foreseeable future. And I think all of that does not portend well for Republicans.
Yes, Chuck Schumer should go. I'm sorry to say Chuck Schumer should go. I voted for him many times. I am ideologically quite aligned with where he is as a senator, but he's no longer capable of running this caucus. He's no longer capable of leading the Democratic Party.
Wait, you have an ideology? I thought you were just there to tell us who's gonna win. I didn't know you had an ideology up there. That's odd.
I am a lifelong, I am an establishment Democrat, and I'm here to say that Bernie Sanders is much more in line with where I and many other Democrats are today than Chuck Schumer is. And
okay, so Hakeem Jeffries goes on Liv Parnas's Centrist podcast on TikTok. Lev Parnas, the son of one of Donald Trump's closest friends who went to prison for Trump, is now a leading Democratic influencer. What a joke. What an absolute joke. And the Democratic Party is pumping him up.
Well, I got to ask you, because I think a lot of people were concerned. They did see Schumer vote no, but then these 8 Democrats vote yes. Were you and your team ever in communication with those 8 Democrats? Was there a surprise among House Democrats that these Senate Democrats were going to vote with Republicans? Kind of take us through that process.
Yeah, so I think initially there was one Democrat, Fetterman, who voted with the Republicans. And then I think 2 additional Democrats joined him during the first or second vote. And then for about 14 or 15 votes straight, the Democrats in the Senate were entirely unified other than those 3. And then, it appeared that, led by, I guess, the senior senator from New Hampshire, that there had been ongoing negotiations to try to get to a resolution. I have not had any conversations with her. I don't know her. I'm confused as to why she made the decision to take this approach in the face of the overwhelming public sentiment that Democrats are on the right side of this fight. But we can't let a handful of random senators sort of take us off track as it relates to the fight that we're waging to lower.
There are 100 senators. 47 of them are Democrat or Democrat aligned. You could introduce yourself and get to know every single one of them in a single day. How the fuck are you the majority leader in the House and you don't have a relationship with every single senator of your party? What the fuck is going on? Even if I take him at his word, he's an incompetent. So either he's a liar or he's an incompetent. And even if he's a liar, he's a bad liar, which is also incompetent.
For the high cost of living, to fix our broken healthcare system, and to clean up corruption. We have to continue to stay the course, to push back against their extremism, to build upon the success that all of us collectively had on Tuesday, where the American people dealt a decisive blow to extremism with victories all across the country, in Virginia, in New Jersey, in New York, in California, in Pennsylvania, in Mississippi, in Georgia, and all across the country, up and down the ballot. That effort has to continue. And we certainly will do our part in the House of Representatives to push back aggressively.
If Democrats lose this one subsidy, the only thing they managed to do under Obama, this would make them the biggest fucking yes. This is Obama's entire legacy. And it has been dismantled by the Republicans. Because guess what, chat? tax subsidies for fucking insurance companies is not very popular. So it was easy to chip away
against, the effort to rip away healthcare from the American people when the bill comes over to us at some point later on this week, and then stay in the fight until we win the fight for the American people thereafter.
8 Senate Democrats. What the okay. Okay, 8 Senate Democrats saw charts like these and decided, oh yes, now that public opinion is on our side and our opponent is facing electoral consequences for their policy choices, now is a great time to give up all of our leverage in healthcare negotiations. Look at Trump's approval rating. It was cratering during the fucking shutdown. Cratering. This is when the shutdown started. Average drop approval rating for Donald Trump. Cratering. Net approval of Trump's handling of the shutdown is dropping. Democrats were holding steady. Republicans were being blamed. Donald Trump was being blamed. There was a huge general election swing for Democrats, especially in Northern Virginia and Virginia Beach, Norfolk, which is where federal employees live. And they gave it all up. They quit. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. That's going to be it for the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, for the Central Committee Centrist Democrats Are Garbage stream number 5,000. Here's all my links. I don't know why Blue Sky is first. I never post on that shit website. I should probably change that to TikTok or something, but make sure you're following me on all the things. I'll see you all soon, and I'm going to send y'all over to Asanabi. Asanabi's in China. Let's be honest. I want to see it. I'm jealous. I'm envious. It should have been me. I want to meet Xi. All right, everybody. Stay safe. Solidarity forever, my friends. That's how socialism wins, and I'll see you tomorrow. Let's get some DSA raids. DSA comrades in the chat. DSA comrade, DSA raid, DSAL. One of each. That's the raid message. I'll see you all soon. Stay safe. Solidarity forever, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for all the support. Peace out.